This is Jonah Hill, and you're listening to the only podcast that matters.
Bro Gang, we are joined by the Princess of Prosthetics, the Dame of Disability, a true Twitter's Titan, aka Jill Slander, the Queen of Coding. She's got plenty of feces and plenty of feces because she says shit on the haters, the top dog of tokenism, admiral of annihilating ableism. She got Twitter fingers and titanium legs, Pasha of the pen. She just passed the crash test weight. She's going dummy on the timeline, the prima donna of pants, your favorite prestige follow, writer and artist, Sophie Helf. Sophie, how the hell are you doing?
Oh my God, I'm blushing. Stop. I'm literally bright red.
This is why in-person podcasting is so
my
preferred,
God.
because we can then see the actual, you are flush.
Have this ice cold Topo Chico. We're in my beautiful home here in Greenpoint, New York.
Chateau
Gorgeous.
Jimbo.
It's gorgeous.
Sophie, the first thing, well, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
linking
This is
up and doing
great.
this in person so we can create some fucking nuclear content. First thing we want to do is a fit check.
Okay.
And the choice for you when you walk us through the totality of your outfit is you can start top down or you can go bottom up.
Let's do bottom up.
That is the correct answer. And you are also the only person that has ever been allowed to wear shoes in James'.
Oh, I didn't ask.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's cool. No, stop Asian hate.
It's cool, you fucking dickhead. No.
I'm trying.
Well, because she wore, I'm not to give it away, but she wore the Wallies, like Clark's me prefer, you know?
I
Yeah.
did, in fact, wear the wallabies. We got some tan wallabies today.
Some maple. What is the term?
Maple.
What
It's
is
maple, right?
Maple
It's
suede,
like
which is like such bullshit because it's not maple.
It's not
tan.
maple. It's
They're
like it's
beige.
tan. What color would be maple? Like a little,
I don't
Like
even know.
like maple leaves are red.
or
Right.
like a burnt syrup.
It's like sand.
Maple
They're,
syrup.
they're sand
Yeah.
suede Wallies.
Sand suede
The
sounds
classic
about right.
low top, always preferred versus the mid top.
Did you develop your preference for Clark's during your time in London?
I did actually. I had a
Really?
friend who always had these absolutely banger outfits, and she had these Clarks in like multiple like primary colors. And like I'll still look at her Insta stories, and I'm like, oh, okay, you look good today. You look great. I feel great.
The question that I have for you specifically about Wallies is you keep the tag on.
I keep the tag on.
But what is the thought process there? Is that like a little subtle flex? Is it because it just feels fresher that way? What's the thinking?
It kind of feels fresher that way, and also I just kind of never got around to it.
You're just,
Honestly,
like, lazy, you're like,
I'm just like, you know
whatever.
what? Like, I don't want to like use my finger to take it off. Like, I think it looks
you're
good.
the kind of kid that like you get fitted for new shoes and you're like, I'm wearing them out the store. Just, like,
Entirely.
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're already on.
I would literally be like, Mom, like, can I go to the dressing room and change into these new pants I
Right.
literally just bought so I can wear them out of the store?
Exactly.
I was that kid.
Yeah,
Entirely.
every parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, okay, so I'm spending this money and you're gonna fuck them up.
And now I got to carry around
Exactly.
these fucking dirty ass pair of shoes.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like
used
they
to put
put
them
the
in the
shoes
box.
in the box, the old
Yeah.
shoes in the box.
Yeah.
That was entirely me.
Total waste.
What socks are we rocking with the Wallies?
We
today,
have got
Sophie?
some nice brown Target socks today.
Do you get a lot of socks from Target?
Actually, they have some basic colors that go with like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not going to.
Target if you nasty.
Target, exactly. So then I guess I'll go into the legs, which have like literal pink rose gold covers on them.
Right.
Oh.
So your legs are jaunts, which is something that no guest on this podcast has ever had the fucking opportunity to
Which,
flex.
if people don't know this about you, I guess the reason why we're talking about your legs is going to be confusing, and we're not going to clear it up just yet. We're going to get into it.
Yes.
But wait, so are you able to customize your prosthetic legs?
You can get the craziest shit. Like basically these are like covers that go over like the little metal bar.
Right.
And they're like 3D printed. They're completely custom fit to the leg.
Okay.
And you can choose like any color you want. They had like huge swatch, but you can also get them like laser cut.
Oh wow.
So all these crazy ass laser cut patterns.
like to get it
Literally, like, really intricate shit.
like a drug cartel king's gun, like how
Yeah.
it's like metal etching
or like
and stuff.
Literally.
like off-white quotations. In
You
my
could get like whatever you want.
prosthetic covers.
legs.
I saw someone with like an owl on it, and I was like, okay, go off.
Was like some
was it
Harry
was
Potter
he an
shit? Like-
OVO? Was
It was
it a
so.
Drake affiliate?
It was literally just like I was like, why'd you put an owl on your leg? I'm like, okay, go off. But you can
So are
also
these like, do you change them out for the season or like what's the vibe there?
you just get one pair. They're actually kind of expensive.
Okay.
So I've been thinking of going for like a slate gray, but I do like the rose gold. It's kind of like iPhone vibes.
It's very. I feel it's very regal.
Yeah, it's like I like after my accent, like I had this running joke of like it would be so funny if I could get like rose gold legs, and I was just kind of stuck to it. And then like I go to the prosthetist, I got my new legs, and they're like, "You want a cover?" And I was like, do you have rose gold? do you have rose gold? And they're like, yeah.
Don't even trip. We got rose gold.
They had every color.
Pink. We got fucking.
They had everything. They had gold, like different shades of gold, different shades of like gray, every like primary and like secondary, third color.
And it goes really well with kind of like the earthy tones of the entirety of the fit.
It's not too bright. That's what I like a lot. It's not too bright.
It's like more of a matte finish. I guess the $1 million question is that if you had $1 million and money was of no object, what would be the next? Have you thought about what the next color would be to add to the rotation?
I think someone on Twitter sent me these like really fucked up prosthetics that were like Ice Queen things. Like I would get like designer shit if I had $1 million.
Like a Medusa head or something?
Medusa head, like tentacles, something really fucked up.
There's a guy in Tiger King that had like Joker, like Juggalo almost, like graphics on his prosthetic leg.
I literally Googled Joker prosthetics once when I was bored, and there was like a Joker prosthetic.
Yeah.
There's that in the world. You can get like anything you want. Yeah.
I mean, the Joker is a cultural icon. I mean, there's going to be Joker merch for every type of size.
Literally everything.
No surprises there.
Yeah.
And then the sweat, or is that so? That's those are the legs, and then the sweats.
Sweats are champions.
Okay, also from Target or
Urban Outfitters.
Okay.
Honestly, they're like really high quality. They're warm. They're fuzzy. Like they go with basically everything I own.
They look great with the Wallies too. Like how I love like a good pair of sweats with Wallabies. Like
me
for
too.
Me, a dog owner, perfect dog walking fit.
Oh, totally,
100%.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, like, it all goes good. I was like, I mean, they fit really good.
Do you feel like there was pressure for you to like come? Because you get big fits and off, and we're going to talk about
specific.
We're going to talk about your personal style extensively. This is a fashion podcast. That's what people tell us. But was there any pressure as far as like what you were going to wear? Or is this the uniform?
I mean, I think initially there was like, no, I just want to go in something I feel comfortable in.
Okay.
Ultimately, like I didn't want to like try a new fit, get halfway here and be like, actually, I hate this. Oh my God.
That would be pandering a bit too hard.
That'd be a little much.
Right. Okay. Well, they look fucking great. And then the T
is just an H&M one for $5.
Oh, nice.
They have like all these different colors, and it's actually like pretty decent quality.
Has it like lasted? Because I guess the one argument that people would make against, well, there's a lot of arguments. To make
I mean,
against fast fashion,
totally.
Of course. We're a green podcast.
Yeah, slow fashion.
We're not out here minting NFTs, destroying the world with our art. We are. What are we? We're enriching the lives of millions of listeners.
For every pod,
we're really saving the planet with every podcast.
And then here I am with an H&M shirt. I'm like, sorry.
For every podcast downloaded, we plant a tree.
Yeah, that is
millions and millions of trees.
Yeah.
Plant an extra one for me.
Right,
okay.
Exactly. And they've lasted through the wash, because that's what some people say. It's like, oh, this feels like a great deal for $5, and then you wash it, and then it's like, this is
to be honest, it's pretty new.
Okay,
so I expect it to last like 4 washes.
We'll have to check.
I'll keep you guys posted.
It's $1 wash.
Yeah, it's like, why not? Like, I got like 5 different colors. Like it's summertime.
Whole rotation.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at the convenience and the fucking know,
sometimes it's about ease.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
And then the coat.
The coat is also H&M, unfortunately, which I bought at like.
We'll plant 3 trees for you.
I bought it at 1 a.m. from Times Square because I was in a really weird space in my life.
Okay. You were in space where you were in Times Square at 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where it was like a 5-day stretch of like I was cat sitting in like Port Authority, and I was like, what am I gonna fucking
were you cat sitting astray?
No, I mean, like I remember my friend described the place as like, he's like, it's in the asshole of Port Authority, and it was like, it cannot be that bad. It was truly that bad.
Does that dude still live there, the homie?
I think he does.
Wow. Could have gotten a $800 Needles jacket in Nepenthes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Just down the road.
Yeah. Oh my God, incredible.
Just skipping a hop.
Real destination shopping.
Yeah. It was like across from one of the big like tunnels that the buses come out of. Yeah. Like across the street.
Which are metaphors for assholes.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the Port Authority. Were you, so you were there, because I was going to say the only reason to be at Times Square at 1 a.m. is because you're just waiting for your reservation to kick in at the Red Lobster.
I wish. I did not.
Olive Garden, the two hardest restaurants.
Or you're just coming out. You're just coming out of your New Year's Eve reservation at Olive Garden.
Oh my God, exactly.
The hottest ticket in the city.
I was just in like the weirdest headspace. I was like, I don't know what to do, and I can't sleep. I'm gonna go buy a blazer.
Retail therapy though. That's not
retail therapy. And you know what?
Is the Urban Outfitters there or H&M open 24 hours
until 2 in the morning?
What characters do you find at 1 in the morning in the Times Square Urban Outfitters?
Whoever gets kicked out of the Port Authority.
I think just a lot of jet lag tourists, honestly.
Yeah,
there are people just kind of like moseying around, looking really dazed. I was like, okay, me too. Like, I'm right there with you.
What's up, brethren? Yeah, and then the jewelry. Let's talk about. You got some rings.
Okay, I love talking about this because there's like stories behind them, and I got some chains as well. Mm-hmm. So one of the chains is my grandmother's. she gave it to me when I was a little kid, and I like, waited till I was a bit older to wear it. And another is from my mom. So
nice.
It's like maternal.
Yeah, very sentimental for sure.
3
Yeah,
Jennies.
definitely.
Yeah.
And then the 2 rings, kind of weird story. When I was in the hospital, when you're having surgery, they take all your jewelry out. And all your like everything, piercings, everything, which was a bummer because I had some piercings I liked.
Okay.
Bye. So
they closed up.
They
It's like a
closed
wrap.
up. I was kind of mad, but so they took my 1 ring away, and I was like, "What the fuck? Give it back!" And my mom actually, she got it from her friend's daughter in England who was starting a jewelry line.
Okay.
And she actually hit her up and like, "Can you like send another one ASAP?"
Wait, so they took it and they kept it?
But then they gave it back, so I have 2.
Oh, so now, look at that. You double dipped.
I double dipped. It was incredible.
scoundrel.
I know. I was like, guys, can you give it back? And they gave me back that.
Okay.
I was like, okay, thanks. So I have 2 of them, and I never take them off. And then I have a little signet ring I just got recently because I just wanted a signet ring.
Nice.
It
Are you
looks
going to
really
get it? Are you going to get it like engraved? Or?
I've been thinking of getting a little S on it.
Nice.
But I
Okay.
kind of like it like this too. I mean, it looks good.
It's clean.
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely wanted one for a while. I had one that like I didn't spend quite enough on, and it turned my finger green. I was like, okay, I need to like invest in this shit,
Real gold.
like actual gold, like throw down a little
None of
bit.
that copper shit.
But so far, so good.
Good.
And lest we forget the panties.
Yeah. Which we ask everyone.
Okay,
It's not because you're a woman. Relax.
Yeah.
okay. They're literally just like plain
H&M.
white Hanes boy shorts.
Oh, nice.
Honestly, like I'm a Hanes girl.
Okay.
Like
Respect.
they're good quality. They
Your
wash
Hanes.
well. It's like $10 for 6 or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm not.
I'm a
into
Hanesman
panties.
myself.
Same,
I'll
except
tell
mine
Hanes
say
boxers.
Supreme.
I keep.
I'm a fucking loser.
I
You're a
keep
little
getting
boy.
like
Yeah.
I keep getting emails from Hanes being like, "We miss you." I'm like, "Oh, bless you."
Very
I was
weird.
like, "Thank
Leave me
you,
alone.
underwear company."
Yeah.
Like,
Silence brand.
Yeah. Silence brand. That is a complete fit check. Thank you, Sophie.
You're
Well,
welcome.
Sophie, we're here on a beautiful spring day here in New York. We're on the cusp of, some would call it the horniest summer
I
in
am.
history.
I am not emotionally ready. I'm
So
afraid.
let's talk about this. You've tweeted about how this summer you're going full vaxxed up, titties out. Can you give like a female perspective at least on how this summer is going to go absolutely bonkers and be a true hot girl boss summer?
Hot girl boss summer.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Well, all my friends call me a girl boss because I work in tech. First off, which hurts my feelings a little bit.
You
but
reject that label?
I reject the label entirely. I'm like, first off, bitch, I'm not
I
a
contain
boss.
multitudes.
I contain so many
I'm
multitudes.
just a boss baby, just generally.
Oh my god, I'm a boss baby. My friend sent me like this Insta thing that said boss baby on it. I was like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Just shut up. But okay, girl boss summer or girl summer. Okay, tits out, definitely at Reese.
Okay.
Gotta go to Reese, get the tits out.
Sure.
That is the
It's a gay beach.
public nudity beach, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Are you're a frequent Reese titties out hanger on?
I didn't go last year because I was scared of COVID, but the year before, like once a
What's
week.
the scene there? Describe the scene because I'm not super familiar.
pretty
Everyone's
gay.
just it's pretty gay. I mean, like
pretty gay.
people are kind of cruising a bit. Like
Sure.
you go with your friends, you go with people you're like comfortable having your titties out around and just like lays and
You see a lot of titties out across like all the Rockaways, but you definitely see some dicks out
Oh,
at Jacob
interesting.
Reese for sure.
definitely. I'm not worried about it. I mean, like it's so hot out, it's so gorgeous out. Might as well go frolic in the raves and
So
chill with your
everyone get
friends.
naked, get them titties out.
Get kind of
their penises
naked,
out.
yeah. Just like why not? Like it's a vibe.
And
I love it.
that's like I'm hanging with my friends. I'm cruising, and maybe I'm reading a good book. But regardless, the one thread across all this is titties out.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
That's why
like
you go, I guess, right?
I love an excuse to get them out. Like
Sure.
honestly, like this past summer, like I was like alone in this apartment for 4 months. It was like a shared one, but everyone just kind of fucked off. And by the time it was summertime, I'd just be like luxuriating in my underwear in front of my fan.
There
Like
you go.
this is all I have to do.
What a quintessential New York moment.
Yeah.
It's like all the roommates are gone.
Just ice
I'm
cubes
getting
melting on you.
fucking naked.
Literally, I was like, okay, make sure the curtains are closed. But it was nice.
Any other rules and regulations though for a hot girl boss summer?
Yeah.
Ooh, good question.
Just personally speaking.
Yeah.
Personally speaking, that's a good
We
one.
don't want to. We would never pretend that that we're going to speak for all girl bosses.
What's like flitted through your mind?
Yeah.
As you
I
kind of, like,
mean-
mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically prepare for this.
Literally, just want to be outside like as much as humanly possible.
Get
Like,
that vitamin D.
yeah, I have a great roof in my apartment.
Is it like landscaped?
It's
Or
not
is it just
landscape.
like
It's just like
black tar situation.
it's a black tar situation, but our building is like a story higher than like all the other buildings
Oh,
in the
nice.
neighborhood. So it's got like a killer view.
360.
Perfect.
And like I'll usually have people hang up there.
Fantastic.
It's really,
Oh,
really
you're like
nice.
the hostess with the most.
I'm always like, guys, we can go to my roof if you want. Like the amount of times I was like, yeah, we can go. I'm like, but it's really nice. Like, you
Lawrence
love
has some
it.
a sensitive skin. How's the shade situation?
Oh, there's some shade.
Okay.
There's some good
All right,
shade.
you'll be good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be roasting on the roof with the homies for sure.
I mean, we're kicking off the summer, right? Like you are on the only podcast that matters, and you've kind of been stoked to come on the pod for a minute. Like as soon as I hit you up, you're like, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
totally.
When? Say when?
less.
Now? today. Is throwing fits? Are we really big in like the queer disabled community? Is that like a thing?
I don't know, actually. I mean, it's not like one huge community. I think like some people don't realize that like there's lots of disparate like ways to be queer and like ways to be disabled. And I think like it's kind of easy to be like, oh, what's a disabled community? Like it's like there's not just one.
Right there, but there's overlap.
There's definitely overlap.
Are you the molten hot core of those concentric circles?
I don't think so, actually.
Is there like somebody specifically that you think represents that extreme crossover more than yourself?
That's a good question.
And can you get them on the podcast as well?
I can try if I think of them. I think there's like, I don't know. I've met so many people who are just doing so much cool shit. Like on their own. I think there's a lot of people doing mutual aid, which is really sick. There's people doing fashion. There's people doing art. Like I know someone who does this, like Haley Cranberry, who does this thing of like she features a different artist every month who's disabled and like has them take over the Instagram and stuff. So I got to do that a long time ago and it was sick. Like I really enjoyed it. There's just so much stuff going on. It's hard to be like, this is the person. Right. You know, but I've just like gotten to meet so many cool people like on the internet. And when I moved to New York, like I got to meet lots of really cool people.
Would you say that the scene, at least the scenes that you're kind of running in versus like London versus New York, do you think it's like stronger here? Would you say?
I don't know, because like London, I wasn't disabled. I was queer, but like I also had a lot of friends who I was like kind of the token gay one, which was like, okay, I was also 21 and like figuring shit out majorly. Like London and New York, like you can't compare them. Like they're so different.
Do you feel like doubly tokenized? I mean, I know, just being a huge fan of your Twitter, like doing all the jokes, you do kind of have some serious thoughts about being like tokenized, but like, I don't know, like how are some different ways that you get tokenized as a disabled person?
I definitely have had people kind of, it's interesting. Like there's a lot of different ways to kind of go about tokenizing, including kind of trying not to, if that makes sense. Like I've had people be like, oh, I don't even see you as disabled. It's like, I'm
disabled blind.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's like, I have fake legs. I don't know what to tell you.
Right. Like, like people are kind of like, they're bullshitting because they think that's like what you want to hear.
It's
really,
like,
it's like, just like,
it's like that meme of like, I pretend I do not see it. You know, it's literally like that. And it's like, I don't need you to, it's like a thing like you need to make a huge deal of it, which some people also kind of do. It's like, oh my God, that's like, I think the one that drives me crazy is you're so inspiring.
Okay.
It's like,
that's the worst one. So as far as like taking notes for everyone at home, it's like, that's the thing. You want to avoid a lot of this stuff, but that's the worst.
I think like the one that really drives, it's like kind of hard to tell, like, cause I can't speak for anyone else but myself ultimately, but I think it kind of drives me nuts. People like hear my quote unquote story, which was kind of tough. It was a lot to go through, but it's like, ultimately I'm just sitting in my room doing my job most of the time. Like I'm not
like kind of like everybody else.
I'm literally just like chilling. I just also have fake legs. And like, that doesn't mean it doesn't matter, but it's like, there's a lot that I like to do that doesn't involve that.
Are there other things that people should definitely, if they're like meeting a disabled person for the first time or like befriending someone or working with them, that they should absolutely 100% like try to avoid beyond just being like, oh, you're so inspiring.
Definitely don't ask like what happened.
Okay. Right.
That's rude as hell, which people do. Like I have had people.
Is that the first thing people tend to ask you?
I have had some people straight up just ask me.
Like they can't help themselves. They just like, it's almost like reflexive.
It's almost reflexive. But then like, I think when they push it, it's like, you really need to shut up.
Damn. What do you say to them?
I'm just like, I've been like, I'll be like, it was an accident, or I'll just be like,
up, bitch.
I know. And like, I've had people like, what type of accident? Like, really? Are you for fucking real?
Are these strangers or like people?
I've had strangers do this shit.
Really?
Literal strangers. It's like, crazy. It's kind of weird. Cause like when it gets really hot out, obviously I'm wearing shorts, right? Like I still have like enough leg that it gets hot. And like, I've had people just be like, oh, what happened to you? It's like, do I know you?
What the fuck happened to your face, motherfucker?
I know, literally. What happened to like your soul, which is clearly full of rot right now? Like, fuck you, man.
Is there like for you speaking for yourself, of course, like, is there a way that is like the best way to kind of get around to addressing it besides just coming onto a podcast and ask you bluntly to your face?
I mean, like, I think just let me bring it up.
Right.
Let me bring it up when I'm ready.
Not just
if
like
I'm
what
ready.
happened, but also just kind of like, I don't know, just talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think it's like, and I can be a little bit of an edgelord sometimes, admittedly, and get a little weird with it, but I've like learned to tone it down. But like, I think just the thing, like, wait for me to talk about it.
Was that a defense mechanism on your part, would you say? Or
Totally. I think like it's been 3 years since like the leg thing happened. So it's like still a lot of processing going on and like learning how to maneuver all this stuff. Like I'm always like, oh, I wonder what I'll be like with this in like 5-10 years.
Have you given any thought to that?
It's interesting because like I know over the past 3 years I've definitely like approached it differently. Like about a year or so after, when I still had like my practice legs. You get like practice legs at first, and
What are these now? Like
these are my like long-term
Alpine
ones.
legs?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like you get a new pair like every 5 to 7 years.
The training wheels are off.
Training wheels are off, and the practice ones like suck ass.
Why do you,
They suck.
Is that because like they're worn out, or there's new technology, or
Basically, like what they do when you first get them, there's actually you have like a socket your leg goes into, and they're like fiberglass. So they take a cast to your leg and like put the cast as like the socket, but it doesn't always fit at first. So they like heat up the fiberglass to move it a bit to shift it around to like what will fit. But like the first time I ever stood up, I was like, this hurts like a bitch.
Oh shit.
Hurt like crazy. But once that gets solidified, they make it in carbon fiber. And then the thing is like they have like the little metal bar for the leg and then like the foot, but the ankle on the practice legs are not flexible.
Gotcha.
So it's like kind of like learning to ride a stick shift and then driving automatic. It's kind of like that. You get the hang of like really maneuvering and like really walking. And then when you get the new legs, there's flexible ankles. So it's like, oh, this is a little easier. This is simple. But you have to like, I mean, it wasn't hard to like balance. I could stand up and walk a bit, but like getting the hang of like walking a bit faster and like avoiding people. And like, you know, you like, when I had physical therapy, like the guy would stand behind me and just like push me out of nowhere to like, it's like, oh, if you get like surprised. Or
Right. Or like,
so I could like catch myself.
Like that's going to
happen.
happen.
Yeah, totally. Like I needed to practice catching myself.
You know, the subway that's
somebody starts masturbating in front of you on the subway.
Right.
Yeah, literally. It's like, okay, how can I get out of here as soon as motherfucking possible?
Yeah, right. Sure.
Do you ever lean into the tokenization? Because I'm like, you know, all these motherfuckers that are like, oh my God, you're so inspiring in this like super woke moment, especially with people of our age range. Like, do you ever kind of lean into it maybe to like get perks or get ass? Maybe, I don't know.
Definitely have not gotten ass that way.
Really?
Unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know.
Leaving the door open to it though.
Yeah, I mean, like, who the fuck knows?
Right.
Who the fuck knows?
You never know.
I mean, kind of, sort of, not really. Like, I've definitely been featured on some stuff where the feature was like definitely mentioned I was disabled, and I was like, okay, go off. I like attention. I love attention. So, just kind of maneuvering that and making sure it's not a thing of like this disabled first off person,
Right.
You know. But you know, ultimately, it's just kind of like a thing in my life.
Yeah.
Sure.
It like. It's tough sometimes.
Damn, I was definitely expecting there to be like more perks and like, not that I'm saying you're a bad person, but if it was me, a bad person, I'd be like, I'm going to manipulate everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a lot of room for manipulation. Oh, you know, oh my God.
Ass,
Do you have to then stop yourself where you're like, I don't want to become this person that is
I think
like,
it's a thing of like, I don't want to take advantage of this and make it my whole thing.
sure. Right.
Like, because I think like everyone maneuvers their disability differently, and some people do make it their thing, which like absolutely no shade. Like, I think like it's nice to be able to like tell people about it and be like, you know, being disabled is a lot more than just like the physical part, because it totally is. But at the same time, it's like I feel like I don't feel like I would be the best at being a spokesperson. Like that's just not my thing in life.
Right. You have no desire.
I really don't think so. I think there are a lot of people out there doing a way better job of it than I am.
Interesting.
Ultimately.
Well, they're not on the only podcast that matters.
Yeah, that is
Amazing.
true.
I mean, it could change eventually,
We are
but right now.
platforming the fuck out of you right now.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so flattered.
Follow Sophie on IG, by the way. I know that you're trying to get your IG numbers up. The Twitter.
You can tell, can't you?
Plug her own stuff, dude. Let it cook.
So it's been what, like 3-4 years since you got your legs?
It's been 3 years since I lost them and about 2 years since I got some new
So
ones.
looking back, I guess like, you know, since you became a disabled person, like how have you, like what's developed the most, I guess, like internally or just like mentally for yourself?
It's really interesting because I think like my mental health is actually better.
Really?
Weirdly, I think a lot of people assume I'm like super traumatized and kind of treat me that way, which like I understand that. And I do understand not wanting to like, you know, encroach on stuff. But like ultimately, I don't remember anything from my accident. No memory. So like, I literally am just like, oh, I woke up in the hospital like, okay, this sucks.
This is like a hard line of demarcation. That's
Pretty
just like,
much.
like
Before
truly
and
like a
after.
friend. It's like- it's a
Before
new
and
start.
after.
It's
Before and
just-
after.
right.
Totally. And I was like, to be fair, in the hospital, I was like totally fucked up on painkillers. So I just was just like, oh, this sucks. No freak out. But I think like kind of having to really come to terms with it, I was just like, I'm not letting this fuck up my life.
Right.
Like, I'm not letting this fuck
Immediately,
up my
that's
life.
what
That
your
was like the
mindset
first
was.
thought I had.
Do you
And
think then that your age then definitely played a part in that versus this happening to somebody who was older, you know?
totally. I mean, I healed faster for sure.
Okay. there you
I was able to walk pretty relatively easily. Like when I first started walking, like, oh, you're walking like a 40-year-old would take 3 months to walk.
go. Sure.
So like, and I actually was like doing a lot of exercise, like while I was in a wheelchair and stuff. I was doing like CrossFit randomly.
Oh, damn.
Whoa.
It's a cult, can guarantee. But
You get fucking jacked. Like
I got pretty
were you pull up
jacked.
in the wheelchair, like on some Friday Night Lights.
Okay, I was not that strong, but I was lifting a lot of weights.
Okay.
Fire.
Like leg weights, arm weights and stuff. Like
Wait,
so
murder ball?
What's murder ball?
It's like rugby, kind of like ultimate frisbee rugby basketball, but for people in wheelchairs.
Oh, I never did that.
Murderball is the name of it's like a famous documentary that won.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that. Yeah, I did not play Murderball, unfortunately, but I did a lot of motherfucking CrossFit.
Okay. Damn.
Yeah, it was stressful, but
like I don't know. I don't even know what CrossFit is.
It's like very fast paced, very intense exercise for a short amount of time.
It is. Oh, these are the really annoying people.
These are the really annoying people.
Take over this.
Yeah, it's the cult.
Like flipping tires on the sidewalks and shit.
It's those people who are just like, what are you doing? They're the people who are also into like crypto and like keto and all that shit. I feel like it's like the triad.
Well, it's that kind of
that kind of
personality,
vibe.
Right?
Exactly, like very intense, very hyper focused.
Is that? Do you find people like that are frequent, or disabled people kind of frequently become that, where they are like so focused and they have to be so mentally strong, right? That they become so like narrowly focused on one thing, whether it's CrossFit, crypto, keto. I'm obviously like cuts across all fucking demographics.
Totally. I mean, it's really hard to tell. Like, basically what I did was it was actually a CrossFit class for disabled people.
Okay.
Which was sick. Like, I really love the concept.
Is this part of your rehab process?
Yeah. It was part of like a rehab thing. So I went in a wheelchair and came out like completely good on legs. So like I went through the whole process, like every single Saturday. And like, it was interesting. It was like a crash course in like how people are going to treat you when you're disabled.
Interesting.
Like everyone came at it differently. And it was kind of intense, but I was really like, okay, like when I moved to New York on my own, I'm going to be dealing with like all sorts of people.
You're
and
going to
like,
be dropped into the Thunderdome. Anyway.
Pretty much, yeah. And like a lot of people were like really chill, really sweet, and really helpful. Like ultimately, I looked forward to going. But there were a few people, some of the coaches are a little weird, like they weren't disabled. And I think like I can kind of see how you wouldn't, there's so many different types of disability that's hard to like suss out, but they'd be like, okay, time to get onto the floor. Like I'm okay, getting onto the floor. But I mean, ultimately it was a good thing because like I got like jacked enough that it was way easier to like get back on my feet, like literally.
This isn't like, it's like an idea of form versus function. You're not just trying to like look good. There was like a legit like need for this.
Totally. Like it's funny because like growing up, I was obsessed with like, oh, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not pretty enough. But like I like had a bad haircut and gained a lot of weight while I was healing and I didn't give a shit.
Right.
I was like, you know what? Fine. But I still had amazing outfits the whole time.
which is the most
I was like really like I need to look amazing in my wheelchair and I would and it was I don't even know if it was a coping mechanism but just always been like that and it just did not change and it kind of kept me sane actually.
Huh.
Did you stop putting together the fire fits like when you went from wheelchair to legs?
I kept it with the fire fits the whole time.
That's true.
It's a lifestyle. Speaking of cults, I mean that's really what it is.
What's a more obsessed cult? John's enthusiasts or CrossFit?
Ooh, I mean the CrossFit people are a little
crazier.
CrossFit people are probably crazier to be fair.
But John's enthusiasts are poorer.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. CrossFit people it was a CrossFit thing in San Francisco.
Okay.
So you can imagine what the people were like.
The worst of the worst.
The absolute like dregs.
Yeah. Were you always going to move? So you grew up in San Francisco and you went back there after the accident. And then do you always know that you're going to come back to New York? Like once you got literally on your feet?
That was like the absolute end goal. Like no question. Because the accident happened in New York. And
while you were living here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So then I was in the hospital in Manhattan for a month. And then they were like, well, you got to go home. And I was like, God damn it. Fuck. So went home. I was
just making my first foray into girlbossdom.
I was literally at a coding boot camp. So yes, I actually was. Literally like absolute girl boss moves. And then kind of got cut short. And the first thing was like, I am getting jacked. I am learning to walk so I can go back to New York.
So you went to a coding boot camp. So that's kind of like, so are you like, because that's an intense thing.
It was really intense.
What was more intense, the coding boot camp or rehab?
Probably the coding boot camp. Yeah. Honestly, like it was.
You need to know about these tech motherfuckers.
It was so intense. Oh my fucking God. Like you'd be coding like 10 hours a day. And coding's really fucking hard because like if you don't get it, you have to figure it out. And if you really can't figure it out, then like you still have to figure it out.
Right.
You thrive with that kind of intensity then? Or is that kind of just like, yo, this is what I want to do. And this is like what I want. The end goal necessitates this intensity.
It was very much the end goal thing. Okay. Like I was, I did graphic design in college and I loved it. I did great at it, but I didn't like working as a graphic designer. It was really stressful. And
you're more of an artist.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I guess I'm I'm not a careerist ultimately. Okay. And I think there was a kind of a more, like coding is always very careerist with a lot of people.
Absolutely.
But I think I was able to kind of separate myself more from that than the graphic design where like you make a design, you're kind of a little emotionally wedded to it, I guess. And then it's like, that's terrible. And you're like, okay, fuck.
Yeah.
But with coding, it's like, it either works or it doesn't.
Sure.
There's like, there's like different ways to write code that can be kind of sexy and like, oh, that's like works really well and is so like really quickly, beautifully done. But I think there's not as much of like an emotional intensity to it. You're just like, it's like a kind of a puzzle. It's like is it working?
So
Is
you'd
it not?
rather not be than like emotionally tied to the work necessarily.
Pretty much. And it's not that I don't care about it. Like, I really like my job. I like the people I work with, like all that stuff. It's not that I don't care, but I'm not like a techie.
Sure.
I refuse to be one entirely.
You reject that.
Are you not emotionally attached to your writing?
I totally am. But I feel like they're completely two separate disciplines for me. Like, the writing thing is always like, since I could like hold a pencil, I pretty much wanted to be a writer. But I knew really early on, like in high school, it's like, I don't think I wanted to be like my main career. Which was like a good decision, I think. Like, I love to write on the side, and like I've gotten some stuff published, but I don't think I could handle like being a journalist or something.
Like,
Like,
full time,
there's
yeah.
no
that
money.
I have never really
Yeah.
wanted to do.
Media.
And journalists are the worst.
I want to go back. Think about a fucking CrossFit journalist. I want to go back
Oh my God.
to like the trauma thing where you said that there was kind of very little trauma, or you immediately were like, you know what? Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to rehab. I'm going to move back to New York. I'm going to get fucking yoked. I'm going to put together fire fits in the
Get
chair.
back on track.
For people that like, as someone that's kind of experienced like a nuclear fallout level amount of trauma, like, do you have advice or tips to people that maybe are going through any form of trauma themselves?
That's a really good question. I think it's really important to have a really good support system.
Sure.
And sometimes you need to seek it out.
Really?
Yeah, I think you can't just assume everyone has like a really good support system. I did, and I was so lucky. My parents were able to take care of me for a year. Like, everyone you heard was very supportive and sweet. Like, I was really lucky in that sense. And like, I'm insured. I had good doctors.
Right,
like, all my
absolutely.
surgeons are great. Like, my prosthetists were amazing and stuff like that. Like, I got really, really fucking lucky. I think like if you're going through something, like, don't be afraid to reach out and be like, I'm having a really hard fucking time. Like, this is tough for me. And like, if I could just like literally chill with you and have a physical presence or like something like that. Like, I think don't discount like the presence of other people, because I think with stuff, it's really easy to like kind of get in your head and turn it on yourself and be
Sure.
like, these people aren't going through it. They don't get it.
Yeah.
And like, they probably don't, but like, that doesn't mean they don't care.
Right. Exactly.
know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think, honestly, like I was on Twitter a fucking lot through that whole year.
Is that when you kind of honed your craft?
It kind of is.
honed your
It
pen?
actually kind of is. Like, I was just like literally lying in bed all day. What the fuck else are you gonna do?
Sure.
I was reading a lot and tweeting a lot. That was
Just
it.
tapping into the timeline.
What was your tweet per day average?
I do not want to think about that.
Like 20. Like,
At least 20.
Is all that
20?
stuff? Have you ever like? And we talk about this sometimes on the show because like I'm a big tweet deleter.
Oh, I've been tweeting and deleting recently.
Okay,
It happens.
you have.
It happens.
What's the mindset there where you're like it's not because for me it's such a fucking narcissistic word like the stats aren't there.
Oh,
versus,
totally,
like,
totally. I mean, like everyone, like no one will admit it, but everyone's into the stats. I think mine is more like I have my like rules for Twitter, kind of, and one of them
Oh,
is
can
like,
we get those? Can we get the rules and regulations? for the
yeah,
timeline?
totally. Oh, totally. It keeps me really sane. The ultimate one is I've turned off notifications for anyone I don't follow,
Okay,
so
right.
that I'm not getting deluged by like
Sure,
a shit
fuck
ton of
'em, who
notifications.
cares?
I have like way too many followers now. Like,
do you have a
I'm
lot
just
of
like,
reply guys in your mentions and shit?
oh my god, yes, I do.
What are
That
they
is-
like? What subcategory of reply guy are they horny? Are they like fucking Trumpies? Like what? How would you describe?
Are they
Okay.
like hashtag actually like trying to prove
Yeah.
you wrong?
There's some
like,
actually guys. There's
Oh,
definitely
the worst.
a lot of tech actually guys.
Oh,
like I
gross.
made a joke about like being bad at coding, and this guy's like, "No, you do it like this." I was like, "I know that. I do this.
Yeah,
I do this professionally.
I'm not
Like it's
asking
my
for
fucking job. I did not ask. Like there's a lot of like, did I ask?
Yeah, sure.
You know, weirdly, there's a lot of like older British men who have like really sweet, friendly replies. Like I'm not gonna get mad at that.
Right.
I'm glad you're vibing with the tweets. Honestly, like
How do they?
you
how do
don't
they
seem
find you when
horrible.
you're like a young lass in London?
I don't think so. I really didn't tweet a lot in London.
That's
Um,
right. It's before the accident.
Yeah,
Before hospital stay.
yeah, it was kind of. I started tweeting more at the boot camp,
Okay.
but I have had my Twitter since 2012, and I barely used it. It was like,
You
I
like
thought-
you like it was like the placeholder. You're like whatever. Park the fucking at. and
yeah, I
then-
was just like, I don't have any reason to delete this, but I'm not really using it either. And then I think like. I literally just one day, I remember I was like walking down the street in my neighborhood, like I want to use Twitter more. There was a literal epiphany of like, I want to
It's
do
a
it more.
conscious decision.
It was a
I'm gonna
conscious decision.
Get big tweets off.
So
Totally.
turn off notifications for anyone you don't follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
What
a
else-
great
what else
fucking
is there?
idea.
Oh, it's great. My rule is if I'm sitting on Twitter thinking, what should I tweet? I have to get off Twitter.
Yes, I love
Yes.
because when you try hard, it's when you die hard. You
That's
don't wanna
always
force it.
those are the ones I delete. It's like that wasn't good, and like people can tell it's not good. Like
Sure.
I feel like
yes.
people
Just
can
literally
tell.
phoning it in.
Yeah, I'm literally just sitting in front of my computer, like, I guess that's kind of funny, and it gets like 1 like in 10 minutes. Like,
White boy summer be like.
yeah, exactly. I think like feeling like another one is like don't feel like you have to contribute to like every single discourse.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like I feel
there's
like
value in
shutting up
shutting
is
the fuck
hard.
up sometimes.
Louder for the people in the back. You do not have to participate.
There's value in shutting the fuck up sometimes.
Shutting the fuck up is absolutely an art. Knowing when to shut up. Like, I mean, like, there's so many people who can say stuff better than I can.
Sure.
I mean, as a writer, what's better than having a good editor, right? And what's better than you yourself being your own editor?
You got to be your own editor.
Shut
You
the
got to
fuck up
learn.
and delete this.
Yeah, it's just like, and some stuff, like, I do get mad at stuff on Twitter, and like, I use the mute button a lot.
Ooh.
Like,
What do you currently
honestly,
have muted?
Huh?
What do you currently have muted?
all sorts of stuff. I mean, honestly, if I read something from someone's like, you're just trying to piss people off.
Right.
People who try to piss people off on Twitter, I do not get.
Right.
I do not log on and go like, who can I annoy today? And I think
Cloud
like
chasing.
yeah, it's
Form of
entirely cloud chasing. It's
Cloud
just like
sharks in the water.
I can't do it. So that kind of drives me nuts when I read something like that and I'm like, that's so fucking mean or unnecessary. It's like,
Right.
then just mute them.
Is Twitter
Just
for
mute them.
you still therapy in a way? Like it maybe was or was a way to like pass the time, I guess.
It was kind of a way to pass the time.
Okay.
And like I've met some really cool people in New York from Twitter. Like one of my best friends I met on Twitter.
Lawrence met his wife on Twitter.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Amazing.
A romance for the ages.
I love.
Shout out JB. I know you're not listening. And I'm happy
I mean,
that you DM'd me.
if anyone's not following Jill_slander,
Oh yeah.
correct that right the fuck now.
That's
I mean,
right.
Sophie, your Twitter is
Elite.
deranged and unhinged in the best way possible. The
Thank
highest
you.
compliments I can give.
That is the absolute best compliment. you could give
Can
me.
you do us the divine favor of
Yes.
opening up your drafts and reading some Twitter drafts right now?
Oh my God. Okay. You know what? Where's my phone?
I don't know. Where is it?
Yeah, where's
Let
your
me just
phone?
get it from my bag real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Totally.
We did this with
I am
Lawrence
not a drafts
recently, and it
bitch.
was
Yeah.
a fucking
It was-
smash hit.
It was a fan favorite. Yeah.
I am not a user of the drafts really. For a while, all I had was a picture of Mike Wazowski. Like that was literally.
Why
I
is
was
Mike
like,
Wazowski coming up on the pod so much?
so many
This
weeks
is-
in a row.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
This is now 2 Mike
He's like
Wazowski references in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
which
he's like
is
an archetype
way
of-
above average.
He's an
Oh, I
archetype of a
love-
men's body shape where it's like all legs, no torso. Right?
No,
Or
all
torso,
no legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, all chest, no legs.
and one eye. Wait, let's see.
Yeah, and famously he's a
Yes.
cyclops. Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
let's. Oh, we still got the Mike Wazowski in here.
Wow. Yes, we
There
can
he is.
He's like Dark Mike.
That's like the
It's like how I feel all the time.
yeah. The
It's like Mike Wazowski in the shadows, looking really stunned.
The freaked out Mike Wazowski.
Is that the
The
only?
freaked out
That's the
one.
only draft you have?
I have a picture of this guy again with no explanation.
Is it?
That was the guy. Did you see this thing of like this guy who did a TikTok of like if you're reading like
Oh,
you
right.
know-
Whatever. If you like Ayn Rand, you're gonna like whatever.
yeah, and it was just like oh man, and he had this like I hate like the smirk,
right.
the smirk.
Like the most self-congratulatory.
Yeah.
Like I know better
smug-
than you.
Yeah.
You think you're so good. Like yeah,
so
I can't
you
do
use
it.
your drafts more as a like folder of images because I was talking to Lawrence. I was like, where the fuck does she get these goddamn like SpongeBob memes images that I've never seen before?
I literally
the
like.
rare
I thought-
SpongeBob.
I thought I'd seen every single SpongeBob meme. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, literally. Okay, one thing that coding teaches you is how to be a killer fucking Googler.
Okay.
You can learn how to Google anything you want and find it like first.
Damn.
Really?
So yeah, it's
I need these codes, dude.
yeah, like basically like
To hack into the
there's
Matrix.
actually like certain ways to do it that make narrow shit down like from this website and stuff.
Right.
So like I can literally just like think of a phrase and like look at it and be like, I want that. And this is so deranged. And my friend found this recently and I was humiliated, but I literally just drag funny shit to my desktop all the time. And it's like covered my desktop. on
Oh,
my
it's like,
laptop is
complete
covered in
disaster.
shit.
It's a mess.
I like
Minefield.
let my friend borrow my laptop recently. He was just like, dude, what the fuck? I was like, welcome to my
It's not
brain.
organized at
I want
all.
to
It's
find.
no,
all right,
no.
If I want to find horny Squidward, what am I going to Google right now?
horny Squidward.
Horny Squidward.
That's all I got to Google.
That's all I got to Google. But like, go through the results for a bit.
Yeah, I think the reason you can't find the rare SpongeBobs is because you need to be searching SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Yeah,
There you
there's
go.
some
That's
really
about-
Not
Yeah.
results or horny Squidward YouTube. Like it's right here.
Oh well,
You're on the
obviously.
horny Squidward YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
Oh god, I just saw horny Squidward just fucking SpongeBob.
So you definitely, and obviously we have the rules and regs, and if you're thinking too hard, you're not going to tweet. But you shoot from the hip.
I shoot from the hip.
You're not like you don't. Use
I
the draft to
never
workshop.
workshop.
Got-
Never
really?
workshop.
Gotcha.
Mm-mm. Like in fact, like some of my biggest tweets I've written like while I'm walking down the street.
Do you know off top what your biggest tweet is?
I do, and it's actually leg related.
Okay.
It was something like, and it's true. I was like something like, like when I was getting my fake legs, my prosthetist asked me if I wanted to be taller, so I got 2 inches taller. You wish you were me, which is true. And first, I don't know, because it
Facts.
felt like a niche like me tweet. It got 500,000 fucking likes, and it's on
Wow,
all
dude.
these like
Hell
fuck Jerry
yeah.
kind of Instagrams and stuff. Like people from my high school, were like, is this you? I was like, maybe, but like,
500 times platinum.
It was insane. Like I got like 5,000 followers from it. I literally went to bed and woke up and I was like, that was not the same number it was yesterday.
Damn.
It was crazy. And it's all true. And like a lot of people are like, that's so dark, or like, that's crazy. And I'm
If I just copy that tweet, but like go with 6 inches, I might get a lot of like love from fucking Short King community.
I feel like it was like an
Triple up.
anti-Short King actually
Oh,
on accident.
Lawrence's most famous tweet, I believe, is about Marilyn Manson removing his own ribs to suck his own dick, which now you are now problematic. You're part of the problem, bro.
Am I part of the problem?
I think so.
Oh my God.
Right? I mean, that's never going to get, posted on like, hood memes or whatever again.
No, I guess, but it does. It does still show up on Facebook. It's a normie thing. I'm playing to my base.
The normie tweets do get big sometimes. The normie tweets get big.
When you're going through the process of like having your legs selected, like what else did they ask you besides like height?
It was actually mostly height, and they were so casual about it. It was so funny.
How much taller could you go if you wanted?
Actually, my first prosthetist told me the story where like he was treating a guy who's also a double leg amputee, and he wanted to get taller than his brother, who was 6 feet tall, and this guy was 5'8".
Oh my God.
So he's like, technically speaking, I can do that. So he
It's
did.
like stilts.
It was like stilts. This
You'll
guy
look
came back
like
the
a baby
next
deer.
fucking day.
Oh, he's like, I can't do
He was
it.
like, I can't do it. I can't walk.
That's hubris. He flew too close to the sun. Like
He flew
literally.
way too close to the sun. It's like,
He was way too close. He was close to God.
Yeah, I guess like it was the bane of his existence that his brother was taller than him.
But if you were like,
clearly.
I want to be in the WNBA, he's like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like,
yeah, it was pretty much like, they were like, we can
4
do
is
it.
clearly like that upper limit where it was like it had a negative impact.
I think it was about like 3 or 4. They were like, we can't do that. And I just chose 2. It's just,
I mean,
which,
like, we'll split the difference, but let me get 2 for sure.
2
hey,
is
let me
good.
tell you, 2 inches can do a lot.
It definitely
For
does.
sure.
I did just get size ups
Lifts.
for
You bought
my
lifts.
lifts.
When do those arrive?
I think they might be downstairs.
You're gonna be
right
like,
now.
Amazing.
6'3"? What's the,
I saw some TikTok where it's like you can get these fucking these
he
lifts.
was like, he's gonna be catfishing all summer.
right.
catfishing girls,
Okay.
height fishing girls,
Height
all,
fishing.
height catfishing girls all summer.
Yeah, from 5'8"
you know.
to fucking.
As someone who's
6'4".
5'11" now, I'm going to be 6'11".
You are not 5'11". You are 5'10".
Are there hype beasts in the disabled community? Because I know that like you kind of talked about how there's like pockets of everything, right? Like disabled is such a wide fucking umbrella. Like, are there hype beasts that are into like the latest prosthetics, like the most cutting edge tech,
totally.
like that type of shit?
A lot of there's like prosthetic influencers,
Okay.
and a lot of them have a lot of legs.
Oh shit.
Which is crazy because
kind of
there's
like an arsenal.
like
and they're trying to influence like various like prosthetics, not like some fucking.
I mean, it's more of like check out what I can do and like how I live my life. Like maybe a little bit inspirational with just like, hey, I'm an amputee and I'm like doing this and doing this. Like some like sports people and stuff. Like
Is that interesting
Paralympics.
to you? Is that weird? Like, you clearly don't have a desire to do that.
I don't have a desire to do that, but I don't begrudge it to anyone else.
Okay.
Like I personally like have never liked the inspiring bent, but like, someone's really into it and like, is doing a marathon or something, like go off.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I love
for
that,
sure.
like I hate running, but other people love running.
Right.
Like, but like if you're a woman and you're into heels, you can actually get feet that can fit into different heights of
They're
heels.
tilted down.
Tilted down, yeah.
attachments, right?
I hate heels and I would never do that. I'd totally fall down, but like it's pretty sick. I think that you can do that.
Yeah.
Like
if
the
you,
technology
like-
is insane.
Or like tabby slippers, like Margiela tabbies.
Oh my God. I actually have like a little gap between like my
Oh, shit.
in the middle.
yeah. I technically could wear like a flip flop or a
Oh,
tabby.
nice. Okay.
Like I don't know if it would like quite fit, but
Right.
like the rest of the toes are kind of together, and then like there's a little gap between like the big toe. But like it makes sense. Like
Sure.
yeah, like the feet are kind of funny looking. They put like weird intense veins on them. I was like, you
What?
really did not need to do that.
It's like
They look like varicose. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I get you're going for realistic, but this is
Sure.
like a little too much.
It's like hyper realistic in like a weird
How
way.
veiny are one's feet though? Like typically.
There's like a pretty big one running down the middle. I'm like,
I mean of just like the feet
And,
that they're
like-
trying to like mimic almost.
I don't know. It's like I guess feet are pretty veiny, but when they're like
guess,
one color and don't have like the
Oh,
different shades of like
It's just like a ridge.
yeah, it's just a ridge.
Did you get to pick the shade of your legs to like, and was it to match your complexion?
I don't know actually. They didn't really ask, but they do ask your shoe size. So like I could fit into my old shoes.
Are there dudes that are like, yo, I'm a size 12?
Oh, totally. I'm sure. Yeah, it's like my feet are pretty big, but like I just wanted to fit into my old shoes. I still have some of my legs. So
Are there when I asked about like hypebeasts, are there kids that are getting like like fake like off-white graphics or something kind of like grafted onto their legs?
Oh, good
Or
question. I'm not too
prosthetics?
sure. Like, I mean, the thing about
There's got to
like,
be, right?
there's got to be. I mean, like, there's so much out there, and like,
It's just
honestly,
big business too, right? It's just
Oh,
like
it's a huge
another
business.
option to
There's a
get people
huge
to pay
business.
for.
I mean, there's a lot of companies that are making prosthetic covers right now, and like, you can also get the socket designed. Like, my socket is just plain black, but you can get like if you can print it on fabric, it can go on the socket.
Oh wow. Okay.
So like I've seen people like Guy Fieri flames and stuff, which I almost went for. I was like
That's
kind of
pretty sick, dude.
quasi ironically like, what if I did the flames? But I knew I'd get sick of it after a week and be like, I fucked up.
Damn it, I
This
got
is a
these for another
mistake.
5 to 7 years.
These were funny for like 20 minutes.
Damn, now I'm the mayor of Flavor
You would've
Town
gotten-
for 10 consecutive terms.
Literally.
You would have gotten a viral tweet off, and then it would have been just fucking hell.
Exactly.
For 5
And like,
years.
look at me. And then like 5 years later, like, oh my fucking God, why did I do that? But you can like put anything you want on a socket. And some people put like sports logos and stuff I've seen.
Oh.
I'm just like, come on, man.
It's kind of like how people get bad. You can get a tasteful tattoo or you can get a bad tattoo.
Yeah,
It's kinda the
totally.
same
I mean,
thing.
like everyone's got their own taste.
like every dude in Boston who has like a fucking Celtics tattoo or a
Red
fucking
Sox
Red
tattoo.
Sox
Exactly.
tattoo. It's like, yeah,
well, yeah. If anyone out there wants to get a throwing fits,
Yeah, we
graphic
won't sue
prosthetic,
you.
like we'll retweet
That's-
you.
that-
And I could
that's-
literally,
that's
like-
free advertising.
I could put a sticker on it.
Yeah.
People put stickers on their prosthetics.
We listen. We have a lot of stickers, as you can see on my laptop.
Incredible.
Very embarrassing.
I'm obsessed.
fucking,
Losers.
children's underwear and children's laptop.
I like the sticker that says you're gonna die.
Oh yeah, that's supreme.
I mean,
I can't take credit for that.
It's true for all of us. So we're on the tail end here of kind of like quarantine lockdown. I feel like New York's about to open up for better or for worse.
Fingers crossed.
Please.
For like the past year plus, right? For like introverted people, lockdown has kind of been for a lot of people. And we've read this. It's like no real big changes, right? It's kind of just like, yeah, like I stay in my home and I like putter about. As a disabled person, has quarantine like changed a lot of your habits, or was it a bit like, and I know the timing was kind of weird where you came back and quarantine started shortly after.
Yeah, I got a year in here before quarantine.
Damn.
It's like, God damn it.
Were you able to build up that support system that you said was like so important before we went into lockdown?
I was, yeah. Like, I mean, I did make a lot of friends on Twitter before I moved here, which was great. And it was actually really cool to move back and like meet them because I felt like it was like, oh, I'm not moving to New York and being like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Right,
like, I don't know anyone. That was kind of my fear initially. But I made some really good friends and like I got to do a lot of shit before quarantine. Like still, if you ask me, have you been to this place? The answer is no. But like, I got
Only
into
did the Jacob Reese.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty
Titties
much.
out.
I went to Reese and like the coffee shop on the
Exclusively.
corner of my place. That was
Right.
kind of it. But I got some good time in here before quarantine. I think initially it was kind of freaky because I was living in this apartment that I didn't like that much. And my roommates just completely fucked off at the very beginning.
Damn.
For 4 months. And I was like, what am I going to do? So at first I was kind of freaked out.
Did they pay rent?
They did.
Okay.
But you're just talking about being like you're like I'm lonely.
I am alone.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I going to do? And I like read a lot and I like watched a lot of really weird YouTube.
Tweeted a lot.
Yeah.
Tweeted a lot.
Came QAnon for a little bit.
I got into some like these weird
Dabbled in
headspaces.
ISIS.
Yeah. Like weird wormholes. I got obsessed with mommy bloggers for some reason.
Okay.
Weird world.
Why?
I don't know.
Because you're not a baby and you don't have babies. So
That's almost kind of why.
okay.
I don't want kids
like,
at
let
all.
me see what this whole mom thing's about.
I was more of like, I was kind of obsessed with the concept of like putting your kids online like that is so fucking weird.
Like monetizing your children.
And
Yeah.
like I have some family who are like pretty like I don't want to say like right wing, but like Christian,
Sure.
like kind of evangelical, and like that is totally their vibe. So I
Absolutely.
think that's one reason I'm really
You're
curious.
like
about
you
it.
want to understand.
I want to get it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what? But yeah, I was doing some weird shit. But by the kind of tail end of that, I was literally just like chilling in front of my fan again and just like reading a bit and like doing nothing. It was so nice to just lie there and do nothing.
Yeah.
It was so hot. I forget how hot it gets here. Like where I'm from, it just like the summers aren't that bad.
Okay.
But like here, it's like so humid and hot compared to
It's
when I'm
just-
used to.
and
It's like,
it's
what the
just
fuck?
disgusting,
It's
generally
disgusting. I'm just
speaking,
covered
yeah.
in sweat.
That's when you go titties out of Jacob Reese.
That is when you go titties out.
Weeks at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah, like from a mental health perspective, like how kind of did you deal? Like, what were your best practices in dealing with just like quarantine and lockdown and shit?
That's a good question. I think honestly, I was not doing so hot for a bit, but I just honestly,
I don't think anyone was.
I think everyone was just flipping a shit, like understandably. But honestly, I just called my parents a lot. I've been a voracious diary keeper since I was like 13.
Oh wow.
So just writing down like I feel bad today, even if it was like one line, it kind of helped to be like putting my emotion like into words or whatever really, really
That's how
helped.
people used to have to tweet that way. you know?
Exactly.
They
And
just rip it out and
Yeah.
attach it to a pigeon.
Yeah,
pretty
or
much,
throw it
yeah.
Throw it into the ocean in a bottle.
oh my God, little bottle. Yeah. Just finding a bottle of all my tweets. Yeah, I mean, I think doing that, and I go on walks all the time. Like people see me around my neighborhood going on Little Lurk. I love doing that. So getting outside, especially when it got warmer, and just like,
Just a stroll.
yeah, just a stroll, like put my headphones in and just like
Get a fit
chill.
off.
Clear your
Yeah.
head.
Obviously had to get the fit off.
Of course.
Strap the
But-
wall is on.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, just walking around, like kind of keeping a little diary and like, I guess just like realizing that like, you know what, shit is fucked for everyone. I don't have to be like achieving anything right
Right.
now. You
Yeah.
know, I don't have to be like doing anything right now that like has an end game, which is kind of tough for me because I can be kind of an end game person.
Well, that's like the careerist versus non-careerist thing you're talking about. In this city, it can get so difficult for people because you're like, you feel the pressure, right, to keep up with the Joneses.
Totally.
It's like, if that's not you, you shouldn't feel like you have to do that.
Yeah, it's like there's a big like, what do you do vibe in New York?
Is that not the first question?
That's the first question you ask. Yeah. And like, I think because I don't talk about it much, people are like, oh, you're a coder. It's like, yeah, I just like, I like it, but it's not my life.
Right.
You know,
it's not how you define yourself.
Totally.
It pays the bills.
It pays the bills.
Whatever.
Lets me get my tweets off.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, in your time here, you spent what, like 2 years here in New York?
Yeah, I've been here almost exactly 2 years.
And I guess like 1 year as a disabled person. I mean, I studied this a little bit in college, just kind of like how, a lot of non-disabled people have no idea how frustrating like urban design is, in that it's not designed for disabled people. Like what is like the one or two things that really kind of stand out as like the ableist flaws in New York City?
Oh my God, there needs to be elevators in every subway station. There are not. And then like they'll kind of get off this thing of like, oh, we're making this station way out in Bushwick or wherever accessible by 2026. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Literally though. I think like the subway is really inaccessible ultimately. Like I can do it. I can like go up and down stairs fine, although I go downstairs really slowly, which sucks. But like honestly, some days I'm just tired as fuck. And like if you're in a wheelchair, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Like when I lived in London, every single station was accessible. And they were like way newer and cleaner in general. Like the tube was really, really good. And also San Francisco is really accessible. So New York is almost
this is a New York City problem.
Yeah, I think it like among disabled people, it's like notoriously difficult to navigate here. And like just curb cuts and stuff, like doesn't happen.
Fucking
Which always get fucking blocked by puddles and shit. And like,
puddles and just like they're just kind of like there won't be curb cuts, so they'll be really crumbly or something. Like if you're in a wheelchair, like what are you gonna do? I think like in general it's like non-accessible city. So I was kind of nervous to move here at first. I was very like ultimately I had to kind of accept like if this doesn't work out, I'm gonna have to find something else. But I mean it did for me, but it's a tough city to get around.
Is there any like advocacy groups that are like trying to shape the design of New York like for the future for more like accessibility?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of
good job.
I mean, definitely more, but it's just like it's so hard to like nudge city policy because I mean they're just like, oh, we could spend it on something else. Like I know they're like making an effort, but like clearing every single curb cut and making every single station accessible is like so much time and money, unfortunately. Which like it doesn't have to be. Like it really doesn't have to be.
Well, look, even though like Gen Z, I think like there is hope for them with these kids, even though their fucking fits are trash, trash. But like, I think one thing that's really interesting is that they like trans rights have kind of been almost like ingrained in their beliefs. Like, do you think that disability rights is the next frontier where we are going to see some sort of like action and evolution in the near future?
That's a really good question.
Or no.
Or nah.
I don't know. I think it really depends on the Gen Z because like it's an entire generation of people. And I think you can't just be like, they're all doing this. But I think in general, like from what I've heard from people who like have Gen Z kids or like have Gen Z siblings and stuff, is that they're generally like, and I say generally, but more accepting of people who are like different in any way.
Right.
And that's like a really nice thing.
Open-mindedness. That's
much more open-minded. I mean, like as like a kid in high school in like 2007, there was no way it would have come out as gay.
Right.
But it seems much more.
Even in San Francisco?
No.
Bay Area?
No, definitely not. I think people are like, oh, it's so liberal. They're like liberal and like neoliberal kind of vibes.
It's like hyphy liberal.
It's a kind of, oh my God. But I mean, it's a kind of thing of like, oh, like there's like people like who back there in San Francisco who still think I'm going through a fucking phase.
Really?
I'm 28 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not a phase.
You're a
I'm
grown
like,
ass woman.
I pay the bills. I pay my taxes. I'm definitely a homo. Like you need to back the fuck off. But it's like, I think
I'm a productive member of society.
It's like this thing of like, oh, like I'm so accepting of like smoking weed. I'm so liberal. It's like this, it's just kind of like they're trying, but they're like, I call them like NIMBYs who think they're YIMBYs. That's what I call it.
It's kind of some like, it's like rich hippies.
It's rich hippies. Like, and it's like limousine liberals and a lot. I mean, the tech people are all just like, I don't even get me started on like what the tech people are like there. But like, it's so many people like that now who are very like, I'm in it for myself.
Yeah.
And who
like individualist pursuits.
Very individualist. And
do you see a lot of that in tech or in San Francisco or like both? Because
I mean, San Francisco is completely techified now, I think. Or like, I don't want to say
I mean, like being in tech
like,
kind of on the East Coast, like, is it worse over there? Is it kind of the same?
I think like moving to San Francisco definitely does a little something to you because you're surrounded by people all the same as you.
Yeah.
Or like, and I'm like generalizing here. No one please kill me, but like,
No, please generalize. That's what this pod does best.
Okay, great. I will. But I think it's weird, like having grown up there and like going back every year during college and like for Christmas every year, whatever, and like seeing that like, oh, this cool venue I snuck into when I was 17 is a WeWork now.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. And like, you know, I've discussed it with like my friends from there and we're all just like, what is left?
Yeah.
Like, you know, they're killing all the good venues and like, and all the cool things and like putting really boring basic apartments there. It's like, for whom? Green. And everyone's fucked off now because it's COVID. They're like, oh, I moved to Austin and I love it. Like, okay, stay there.
Yeah.
But it's like they were there for the industry and not the city itself.
Right. Absolutely.
Completely.
Well, fuck them all. Right.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Speaking of fucking, gotta ask this, Sophie. So this is a question that I think like we grapple with, or maybe Lawrence doesn't grapple with.
I do not grapple with this,
but definitely like it's a very interesting question, kind of in this day and age, which is like, you know, you have quite a huge Twitter following. You met a lot of friends there. What is your personal policy on hooking up with followers?
I don't
really.
It's blanket statement.
That is a rule. What are the rules?
Admittedly dated someone I met on, no, we didn't meet on Twitter, but we like kind of connected through Twitter and like that fact had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
That had nothing to do with it. Like it went fine. We broke up after a bit, but like, honestly, at this point, it's a no. Because it's, I mean, I hate
of that experience kind of?
No, not at all, actually. It's more like, I hate to use the word parasocial, but I like go on Tinder occasionally. I'll like swipe right, left a bunch of times and be like, no. But I've matched with people sometimes who will just send me one of my tweets.
That's fucking
and they think they're being like sexy, or they think it's like
oh, I know you. They think it's an in, and it's like
turn off.
It's a huge turn off for me. It's like, you know so much about me, and I know nothing about you. That's not the right way for me to start
the
something.
Sophie that I'm putting out there on Twitter. Not
you know, like yeah, and I like.
Sophie.
I mean, there's definitely like I'm a multifaceted being. Like, you know, Twitter is where I go shit post. Like. I think people think I'm like hilarious all the time in real life. Like I'm not doing bits like when I'm with my friends or anything. That's not my vibe. But it just feels kind of weird and one-sided when someone does that. Like, oh, I know you. I see your tweets and know what you're doing, but you don't know who I am. It's like for me, that's not how I want to start a relationship.
That's getting off on the wrong foot.
It's completely getting off on the foot. Like I've had someone I dated kind of recently like bring up later, like, you know, I do know your Twitter, but they were like chill about it. It's like, oh, okay. They weren't like, oh my God, like your Twitter's so funny.
Oh my God, it's Jill Slander.
It's Jill Slander. Yeah. Like it wasn't that vibe. And I was like, that's okay. Like they didn't make a big deal about it.
They appreciate the work that you
do,
but they're not like in it for like this idea of you that they have.
Exactly.
It's all digital.
It was like we kind of knew each other a bit more before. They're like, you know, I do follow your Twitter. I hope that's not weird. And I was like, oh, well, like if when you put it that way, like that's fine. You weren't like,
are your DMs like a fucking war zone? Like, is it?
They're closed.
Yeah. Oh, they are.
They're closed.
That's another rule.
That's a rule.
So only people that.
Wait, I DM
only people I follow.
Yeah, only. Yeah.
I followed you.
Got it.
That's like that's the approval.
That's the approval. Yeah,
process, right?
Definitely. I think I've tried opening them up a couple times, and I was a little like feeling insane. And most of the time, it's kind of chill, but every now and then, there's someone who's just like being so fucking weird, and it's like. Honestly, it doesn't stress me. No, I don't need that. Like, if it's one less thing in my life that'll annoy me, then I'm just going to get rid of it.
100%.
Have you ever? I mean, as a Fitz enthusiast, a Fitz woman, have you ever dated a fashion girl?
I have not. I have not actually.
Is that like something that's attractive to you,
or
someone
who
like
also
never happened?
Appreciates big fits and makes an effort in like how they dress?
I mean, I love
is
that.
Is John's enthusiasm an attractive trait?
It definitely is. It definitely is. I like someone I'm dating to like have at least some sense of style.
Right.
But I've never.
Is that like a don't embarrass me thing, or is that like,
maybe a little bit? I mean, it's like it's nice to see someone who like also enjoys a fit. You know, like it's like a shared thing we can have.
Do you ever try to nudge them if they're not getting fits off?
You ever like oh, I got you.
I don't know. Like shit. I don't know. It's never. I've never dated someone who's been like that intensely like. Not into
completely lost.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But I mean, like, it's not. I'm not like searching out for fashion people, but it's like always kind of fun to like be like, oh, like, what do you think of this? Like, oh, check out this thing I got. Like, it's a lot of fun.
It's a shared interest. Right?
It's a shared interest. Totally.
And to have that opinion actually matter.
Yeah, exactly. When I trust their opinion, that's a lot of fun.
And it can be emblematic of like, oh, you have like interesting taste in this. That must mean that maybe you have interesting taste in like
or an appreciation of aesthetics,
or design,
right? Just generally speaking,
and just like
it's a tastefulness, which
and like appreciation. Period. It's fun to see someone who like has some sort of interest that like drives them a little bit.
Right.
You
Absolutely.
know?
Do you maybe this is a reason why your DMs are closed, but like, do you ever deal with a lot of like amputee fetishists?
Actually, yes. And
how do they like?
What's
dude? They like lure you in. They fucking lure you in.
What?
Okay, so my Insta DMs are open and I don't have as many Insta followers, so I'm not worried about it. And most of the time it's just people
it's about to change, my friend.
Oh God. But I mean, like, okay, so I can think of two off the top of my head, and both of them just kind of started off asking questions like, hey, they both said they were recent amputees, one of whom actually was, one of who was not. One guy.
Amputee catfish?
No, he said his friend was a recent amputee.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, like, and I can't give like doctor's advice.
Sure.
I can be like, like, oh, like,
But you're
I
open
can
to
give
having a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, like, and I've had a lot of conversations with people who it was helpful, and we like both like got something from it.
Right.
So there was this guy, and it's like, oh, like a friend of mine like just had her leg amputated, and she's struggling. It's like, okay, well, I can't give you like serious advice, but like, I can give you some coping vibes. And then he kind of led me onto this thing, and he goes like, so who takes a leg off during sex? I was like, bitch, are you for fucking real? And I just blocked. I was like, no more interaction.
You instantly knew that he was a fucking fetishist.
He just slid into it very cunningly, I have to say. And I was just like, oh man, I got like caught. But so it's made me a little more careful about who I talk to. But like, I can tell when someone's just kind of earnest about it. Right. I don't really mind
versus
being
like just wanting something salacious that
it tends to be
for their
like
spank bank or whatever.
Yeah, I think like I can kind of tell when it's immediately medical advice they want. For some reason. Like I had this one woman be like, "Can I see the end of your leg, please?" I was like, "What?
Whoa.
No, fuck no." Like
that's super personal.
That's super personal.
Insane.
That's
someone
like,
you've never talked to before.
Yeah, and she's like, and she got really mad when I wouldn't show it to her. It's like, why would I show you like a very personal part of my body? Sure. What the fuck? Like it's just so it doesn't happen all the time, but it definitely has happened.
Do you get kind of on the flip side? Do you get like, I know that you don't fancy yourself a spokesperson necessarily, but do you get like young people hitting you up, just be like, hey, Sophie, like I look up to you. I think you're really funny. I like what you're doing. I think you're cool. And I'm like myself, I'm going through something and asking you for advice and help?
Sometimes, yeah. I've definitely gotten people who like have been recently disabled being like, how have you dealt with this? And like, I've been able to just give some advice like, look, this worked for me. Like obviously everyone copes differently, but like kind of how I told you, like, find a support system, like trust that other people care and stuff like that. Like, and I get nervous giving advice sometimes because like, it's just something like, what if it doesn't help, but ultimately I think something a little more general, like, just, like, I don't know. And it's different for everyone too. Yeah. I think like there's so many like ways to be disabled that sometimes it's like, look, like I don't have this exact experience. So I can't totally give you advice that may or may not work.
Yeah.
But I've definitely had people reach out and be like, look, I'm going through this thing and like, it's nice to see someone who's open about it. And like, that is why I'm open about it. Like, it's nice to kind of like, I've written a few essays where I've gotten emails from people like, I really enjoyed this and it really helped me in a way. And like, that's
how you want to like the work, let it speak for itself.
The work speaks for itself. The work speaks for itself for sure.
Do you find yourself potentially, because we're talking about support systems and the fetishists and all that, do you find that there's people that like that are attracted to you because they want to like save you or help you, which is like a parasocial, like in a different way, right? Like, does that happen?
I actually really haven't had that happen. Okay. I haven't had a lot of savior complex people.
Okay, there you go.
Which is good. I think, interestingly, not really. I think it really depends on like who you're talking to and stuff. But most of the time, I think people are more like, I think the one I get is like, you're so inspiring, ultimately. Like that's the one I get a lot. But
which, by the way, was your best headline, GOAT headline. I lost my legs and insert something inspiring here.
They actually, did you know that when you write a piece like that you don't choose the headline? I didn't write that
outline.
Yeah. I thought that did a good job. I really liked it.
But
I was like, that's a good
title that
one.
you did pick is the title of your newsletter, which is Real Dumb Bitch Hours.
Oh my God.
Dying and was like, we gotta shoehorn the newsletter in here so we can name the
title
the podcast after that.
I literally like, honestly, and I love leaning into the dumb bitch angle because in some ways I'm such a dumb bitch. And I love that for me though.
Right.
Like I
live your truth.
In some ways I'm just really fucking stupid.
Real dumb bitch boss.
Yeah. Dumb bitch boss. Exactly. Like, and it's like, I used to be like, I'm kind of an idiot. I can't manage anything. It's like, everyone's kind of dumb in their own way. Yeah. You got to lean into it.
Well, last question on just fucking and sucking. Let's say that, you meet a nice lady. Like, what's a first date with Sophie looking like?
Oh my God. That's a really good question. Honestly, I'm like, I don't like doing coffee. It feels like, because I've also done coffee for like job interviews, and I'm just like, that's so.
But what is it?
normal.
What is the first date if not a job interview, right?
No, that's true. That's true.
With a different type of payoff. You know what I'm saying?
Tell me about your worst quality.
My worst quality. Oh my God. I could tell so many
I
things.
fuck too good.
I care too much about making you come.
I'm just so beautiful and will just like lavish you.
Yeah, we
You
doing
know?
dinner. We going to
Yeah,
the
what's the
beach, we going
vibe?
for a
Honestly,
stroll.
Does it depend on the person? Or
It
y'all,
really depends on the person. It really depends on the person. I have gotten better at being the one to be like, we should hang. I used to never make the first
being
move.
more assertive.
Being more assertive, because it's like, you could be talking for like 2 weeks. When are we going to fucking do
Is
something?
that a way you've always been? Is that something that happened after the accident? Or
Actually, kind of after the accident.
Really?
Yeah, I think I used to be very, very passive when I was younger. Like, I think I would be like, because it was just like, I was kind of like dealing with some shit, and it was just like, oh, they don't like me. It's like, you don't fucking know that.
Right.
You know that they're already talking to you. Just be like, hey, you want to like get some dinner or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Put yourself out there.
You got to put yourself out there. Like, if you want to get it, you got to put yourself out there, period.
This is an incredibly loaded question, but it sounds like, how there's very much demarcation between like the before accident and after accident. Like, was losing your legs in some ways maybe like good for you?
I honestly think like I dealt with some like mental health shit when I was younger, and like I went on meds and stuff, and it was good. But I think like having a year out, just like completely fucking out, was like really good for me.
It kind of like realigned like your intentions.
It was like,
and-
what do I actually want to do?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of need to sort it out, Sophie. And like, I knew I wanted to go back to New York. It was like, how do I want to approach how I deal with like friendships and romantic stuff, and like how I navigate having a job and stuff like that. I really had to kind of figure that out. Like,
have you kind of had a similar experience with quarantine at all, or
No, honestly, it just sucked ass. But it's just sucked
naked
ass
in front of a fan?
naked in front of a fan. Yeah, pretty much. But like, I think like after the accident, like I think I just had more time to like, and not to sound hippy dippy, but like really center myself. And like, I think just be like, this is like, I get this one chance at doing shit. Like, I need to like be gentle with myself.
Sure.
And like be able to like understand that like life literally comes at you really fucking fast.
Absolutely.
And like understanding that and like leaving space for that with stuff I do.
Right.
Like, I feel like I've gotten better at handling like curveballs in any way.
You're like, what can't you? Like, there's nothing you can't handle.
Yeah, it's like if I
Right?
can
At this
handle
point,
like,
it's like-
losing body parts, I can
Yeah.
handle like a breakup, or I can handle like,
Right.
like a job thing.
So
going through.
then does that, in terms of your personal life, do you find yourself maybe being cavalier in a way then with like relationships or stuff where you're like, oh, we're breaking up, whatever? Like,
I get pretty in my head about shit.
okay.
But I've gotten better with that too. I think like my friend made a really good point after like the first time I dated someone like post accident. They were really respectful and they were not pushy in any way. And that kind of got me really attached to them. And like after we broke up, my friend was like, you deserve that from like literally everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this person, although like they had like a good spot in your life, like that in and of itself did not make them special.
Sure.
Like you deserve that from literally everyone. I was like,
That's
oh
cruising
shit.
altitude.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
we need.
that is
Your
cruising
partner being
altitude.
good to you should be the norm.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's like knowing that it was like I was kind of able to level up. Like this is so weird. Like I have a lot of friends who are into like horoscopes and tarot and shit. I'm not like hugely into it, but I'm like open to it. My friend gave me this like ritual to do, and you like write down the kind of things you want in a partner. And I was like, that is the best fucking idea.
Like manifesting it in a way, or
Kinda
or just
manifesting
things
it.
to look for.
I mean, like in a way, I feel that's like kind of
What
manifesting.
was on that list? Because I
Yeah.
feel like, we have 18 million listeners. Not a lot of women, but, you never know.
Very
There might
few
be-
women, by the
There
way.
might
Really?
be a lucky lady listening right now. What was on your list of what you look for in a partner?
Let's see. I mean, just a lot of different basic forms of respect, like understands my disability, understands like I've had some stuff tough in the past. They don't like, bring it up or make it a thing.
Right.
What else? It was kind of a long list and I'm totally blanking. And like kind of same sense of humor vibes, like, understands that like I kind
Doesn't
of,
follow you on Twitter.
Right.
I honestly they could, but
Hey, you don't want to excommunicate or disqualify 30,000 people. Off.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
30,000 people to disqualify. That's a lot,
That's
know,
that
like
is a
there
lot.
could be
That's
someone
a
out
lot.
there.
That's a rapturing right there.
Nothing to shake a stick at.
I don't necessarily need to be the Twitter person in the relationship. Like if they also like have fun on Twitter, that's actually kind of cool. But I think like them knowing me from Twitter first and foremost, that's a no.
Sure.
Yeah. I think like honestly, just like the different ways I kind of like want to be like treated nicely and like the kind of respect I wanted. And it was like a nice thing to do. It was like, because I would just go into like, oh, they like me back. It's good. It's like,
Right.
that's not how it fucking works.
Yeah.
Like you got to treat each other well and like understand how you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Well, one
Respect,
of the
you got to give it to get it.
You got to give it to get it. And you got to
Exactly.
know the type of respect the other person needs.
Bingo.
one of the absolute, I'm sure, I don't know if this is kind of an intention you set in your year in the hospital or year at home after the accident, but like you've just hit a major lifetime achievement, which is you are currently writing a book.
I'm writing a book.
Which is, I mean, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, can you tell us anything?
I can tell some stuff. I mean, like, it's a novel. I wanted to write a novel since I was about
Fiction.
8. I know people are kind of weird about that.
Really?
I love novels. I read
Why
mostly
are people
novels.
weird about that?
Yeah.
Do
they think that you're going to tell like the Sophie?
I think
Helf
it's more
story, like-
impressive, by the
Some
way.
people actually, a lot of people have literally been like verbatim, you should write an autobiography. I do not want to do that.
Or like memoirs or whatever.
Memoirs, whatever. Like, I already lived my life and some of it is suck balls. So like, why would I go and
Right.
Is there
that?
any is the novel heavily reliant at all on your personal experiences?
A little bit. It's not like autofiction for sure. Like, it's kind of like based a little. It's like based in San Francisco. It's about like a couple queer people. So like, yeah. But what happens in the book, it's like nothing I've done. So it's
When
actually
can we
like,
read it?
you can read it
What's the
whenever.
timeline?
Honestly, I'm not that far in.
Okay.
But I've been like marinating over it for almost 10 years. So
Really?
yeah, 10 years.
This has been the idea.
This has been
This
the
is
idea.
always going to be the book.
Like this, I'm going to be very slow with it, very intentional with it. I'm not trying to be like a famous novelist. Like, if the book flops, it flops.
Right. You just
know,
want to do the damn thing. You are doing the damn thing.
I'm doing
That's-
it.
What
you
did
know?
what did it take to kind of push you over the edge? You know, if you've been mulling over it for 10 years.
I think because there were some starts and stops, and I think I'm just at a good start at this
Right.
point. Like, I think one thing I really try to do is get to know the main characters. Sure. So then you hit this point where you can like, what would this person do in this situation? And you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
like, you know them so well. It's like, well, they'd obviously do that. And I kind of finally hit that point where I just like felt I knew these two main characters so well. It's like, I can actually like,
You're like
write
living.
this.
You're like living and breathing it.
Yeah,
Versus
pretty
like
much.
forcing it. Kind of like what we're talking about with tweeting.
pretty
Obviously on a
much,
much
yeah.
smaller scale,
Pretty
but
much, yeah. It's like the Twitter of like
Yeah.
a novel.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like a lot of my books are very writing. I've been writing some short stories on and off for years. Like, it's always very character driven to me. And so knowing that, I felt ready to like actually put these people in situations.
Sure.
It was like, that was kind of the impetus. But I mean, I actually talked to someone recently about like the publishing process, and it sounds like fucking miserable. Like,
Well,
I'm
the
not a
only
big
published
promoter.
author currently on this podcast.
Are
And I
you
can
now?
tell
You
you,
wrote a picture book.
no, it's
Oh my
not
God,
a picture
amazing.
book. It was, you remember like the Fuck Yeah Tumblr craze that was happening?
Yes,
So
yes.
myself and my buddy sold Fuck Yeah menswear
Oh.
to Simon & Schuster, one of their imprints, and it was in Urban Outfitters, and you could probably still buy it because nobody bought the thing
Oh no.
when it came out. But my advice to you would be, yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I'm really.
I think you're in a better spot than I
I
was.
honestly like I'm not totally.
Take as we get all the money up front. You want that advance.
Yeah.
They're like, do you want point? Do you want the royalties? And I'm like, this is never going to be on Oprah's book club or Reese Witherspoon's Instagram. I'll take all the cash up front, please.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling. I mean, I think my thing is like, I don't want it to be like the book by Jill Slander. You know, I don't want to, and like, I don't know. I want the book to stand on its own
Sure.
to the point where I almost want to submit it to be published under a pseudonym.
Really?
Like-
What would your nom de guerre be?
Yeah.
I don't know
Nom de
yet.
plume.
I don't know yet. I've been thinking about that. I have a few, but
Wrath
I mean,
Simmons?
oh my God, yes. I'm not there yet because the book is really not that far
Right.
in. Like, it's taking some time, but I have been thinking about the process and how I want to deal with it. It's like, I don't want it to be like totally hyped up and then have it either not be good and everyone's pretending it is,
Right.
or like be really good, but it's like,
You just want to put it
my
out
book.
there and see.
I just
what
want to
the
put it out there.
Genuine reception is.
So you're managing your
Exactly.
expectations. So it seems like you're a lot farther along than like every other, prospective writer out there or author.
I'm just
right?
like, it's just like, if it sucks, I want people to be like, this is bad. And if it's good, I want
You
people to say it's
be honest
good.
with you
I want
regardless.
people to be honest with me. Like, it's like this life project.
So you're really doing it for you.
I'm doing it for
Which is
myself.
really is the best way that any art comes about, right? Versus trying to do it for other people or
Totally,
what you
totally.
think people want.
And
right?
I went to art school, lol, and
I was gonna say my condolences.
yeah, no, it was a lot. But I think when you're like 19 and you think you're doing it for yourself, you're not fucking doing it for
Right.
yourself.
You are
That's a lie.
you are technically an
Yeah.
artist. I mean, you did put out a augmented reality piece recently as part of this kind of like group exhibition. As an artist and as someone in tech, how disgusted are you with the whole NFT phenomenon bubble?
Oh my god.
Do you hate it?
Oh my god. Okay, well, I'm not going to pretend I know everything about it,
Okay.
but get your money, get your fucking money. Leave me alone. But I don't think it's groundbreaking or special.
Huh.
I don't think it's like the specialist new thing. Like, it's
Art
still
as
fucking
commerce,
it's
right?
art
I
as
mean, this
commerce.
is-
Period.
It's commerce is commerce.
Yeah.
It's commerce is commerce.
Yeah.
No, you're like the only thing that the only thing that is extracted from the whole transaction is the action of buying.
Exactly. I mean, like, I made some stupid joke of like, it's me screenshotting your NFT.
Yeah.
Like, what up, bitch? Like, it's mine
Fuck
now.
you gonna do?
So it's not
Like,
something that you feel like you want. You have any
it's
way to doubt.
No, I mean, like,
want to
part
do,
of
yeah.
I mean, part of me is like, I could probably make some cash money off of this. I just don't want to. I literally just
Dust
don't
off
feel
those
like it.
graphic design skills.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I was thinking, like, what if I made like a 3D scan of my prosthetic leg and sold like the 3D scan file
I mean, shit, dude.
To those fucking dudes in your DMs.
to the dudes in my DMs? I mean, like, there's probably some horny people who want like a fake leg NFT. I don't know, but at the same time, it's like, do I actually want to do that? No, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just like a funny idea.
Not
Like,
worth it.
I'm just like, I mean, like, a lot of times, like, I don't feel like it is like that's it for me. Like, if I don't want to, I don't want
That's
to.
fine.
That's a
Yeah.
fucking great philosophy that I feel like a lot of people could.
I mean, like, you
internalize
don't
and
have
use
to always
themselves.
have an explanation, and if you do,
Yeah.
you can keep it to yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, it seems like this post-accident philosophy or mentality. It's really just like mental clarity for you, and is like as a Cali sober person, like does sobriety, like does that? How long have you been sober for?
I have not been drinking for 3 years, and I quit hard stuff for 5 years.
But marijuana.
Weed, I have
Occasional
been known to
psychedelic.
take a weed.
Dabble.
Not too often, not too often. Yeah.
What was your druggiest period in life, and was it biting a person in Berghain?
It was. I mean, actually, you know what? I've done worse. Like, I was
Take a
this,
bite of
like,
crime.
I was really on some shit in college. I was on some insane
You were off.
shit.
You were off a bean.
In London town. I'm off for breakfast bean.
Yeah.
Oh my God, actually, it was like really fucking crazy in it. But, like,
Mad ting.
it was just like a thing of like everyone else is doing it. I mean, I love partying. I love going out. I love dancing. And a lot of that was like, you're doing drugs while you're doing that.
Right.
And I was
For sure.
never like even remotely decent when I was on drugs. It got to be kind of an issue. And that's why I quit. I was like, yeah, I'm really fucking some shit up for myself.
Why
like,
did you bite someone in Berghain?
Because he just picked me up. Don't pick me up.
Oh,
Right.
so he was fucking assaulting
He was
you.
fucking with me. I was
Yeah,
like, no,
that
you
was-
don't, no
that was
touch.
self-defense.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. And it was
That
just kind of
chomp
like,
was in
I didn't like
self-defense.
make him
Yeah.
bleed, but I was like, kind of like, don't fucking touch me. I have a very big don't touch rule.
Right.
Yeah, I was kind of annoyed. I mean, besides that, it was a fun night. Like
where'd you
went
bite him in? Like
his
how hard?
arm. Not too. I bit him on his arm. Like, I mean, I wasn't drawing blood or anything.
Right.
I wasn't
Oh, okay.
like ripping a chunk out, although I
Sure.
probably would have liked to. But it's like, don't.
Yeah.
And he was
Don't
probably on
touch.
some shit where he thought that you were, like on some like vampire, like
Yeah.
drug Berghain shit.
Oh God, I mean, like, I don't even know what I took. Like, I mean, I kind of could suss it out. I was just like, I feel really fucking weird. I got lost in the bathroom for a while because have you been? The bathrooms
No.
are huge.
No, we have not been, but we'd like
Okay.
to go.
We've
Jimmy
gotten,
and Larry
I think
go to
this is, the,
Berghain.
this is the second Berghain story that we've gotten on the pod. And the other
I
one was
love.
like the two guys from industry, like basically created industry while fucked up in Berghain for 3 days.
Oh my God. I mean, like, you stay there till like we left at like maybe 7 a.m.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Which is early.
Yeah, it was actually pretty early.
Yeah.
I mean, we got there pretty early because we like wanted to not be in a super long line. Because like the weird thing is like
Oh, you pulled like a 24-hour shift, kind of.
something like that.
What was
But I
your
mean-
fit to? Because obviously, like that's a huge thing to get in. Is you can't be like too fashion or too cool, right?
Okay, actually, my friend got us in with her shoes, which are like those kid light up shoes that
Yeah.
you get. She had like
LA
an
gear
adult
or whatever.
She had like
Owned
an
by
adult
Tyga
pair
now, I
of
believe,
those.
or Tyga's an ambassador.
Literally, she had like these like adult version of the light up shoes. She always had like the best outfits ever. There's like totally insane. And the guy at the front was like, yeah. And like
Sure, let's
we had
go.
one girl who like spoke German among all of us. And we like go in and you're supposed to be like really quiet in line, which makes it boring as fuck.
Right.
Like, so if the line's long, you're like, okay, I'm just standing here. So we're like kind of quietly filing, like, yes, bitch, as soon as we get around the corner. And the German speaking girl's like, yeah, he loved your shoes. Like, he basically got us in. It was amazing.
Your children's shoes got us into
Your
the
literal
most
child
adult
shoes.
place on earth.
Thank you, Tyga.
Pretty much. It was like crazy. I loved Berlin though. Like, it's actually like if I really just couldn't vibe with New York, it's like the one place I
Oh,
would
really?
move. Yeah.
Berlin's amazing.
I love it. It's like, I mean, it's cheaper.
Sure. Well, I mean,
For
what's
sure.
more expensive?
What's
than New
more
York?
expensive?
Everyone speaks English.
San Francisco.
Yeah, right.
And I think there's like, from the people who I know there, it seems to be less like careerist actually. Like there's not the whole like, what do you do first and foremost? Like when you're like not paying as much for stuff, you can just kind of chill and like pursue other shit and not be like working
Right,
all
right,
the
right.
time.
First
Which like,
question is, where do you get those children's shoes?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean
What
like,
drugs do you have on you?
yeah, for real. But like, yeah, I think like honestly, if New York just did not cut it for me after a while, I think Berlin would be
That'd
the
be
place
next
for me
on
to
the
go.
hit
That'd be
list.
next on the hit
Not
list.
bad.
Which like
Another-
I don't think it's actually going to happen, but like you know,
Right.
it's in the back
Maybe.
of my head.
You never
It's
know.
there. It's there.
I mean, Berlin winters though. I don't know. I guess New York. winters,
London
too.
winters though.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Another kind of thing that you kind of excise, cut out of your life is like influencer, Instagram shit. Like, was that bad for your mental health? Like, why did you kind of like?
I
decided
mean,
you're
yeah,
done with it?
and not in kind of a like I wish that was me way, but in kind of a like shut the fuck up way too.
Shut the fuck up.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you?
Like GTJ.
It's just like I get. for a while, I was going for like a Miriam Nasir's a day look back when I was like super femme, which like ended in a single day, by the way. And
when you stepped into H&M and you're like, damn, they got sweats here.
it was like, I literally woke up one morning, it's like, I hate all my clothes.
Right.
And that wasn't a problem because I'd thrown down for some shit.
Sure.
But yeah, I would just be like looking at these Instagrams of these girls and they all look the same, which like, you know, it's
That's
like
influencer culture,
it's
right?
influencer culture. It's like they're all really fucking skinny, really
Model
fucking
culture.
tan.
Yeah.
Model culture. Like I'm not a model. Like I don't look like that. I never will. I'm never going to be able to afford like $1,000 bag multiples.
Sure.
You know, I'm not going to get sponsored by people. Like I would never do a sponsorship or anything. That's not really my vibe. Like unless
You're talking to two shills. We shill.
I love that though.
I respect your point of view.
From as an individual, I wouldn't.
If you
want to do
NFT
it.
those legs,
That's true. That's
we
true.
can post about them.
So this idea of like body image and all this, like, so this is that something that changed because of the accident as well?
Yeah,
like,
it actually kind of did. Like I
That's more of
had
that
like
clarity?
some major body image stuff when I was younger. I was just like, oh, I'm never gonna look good. I'm never gonna look the way I want to. But like after the accident, it's like, hey, like I'm fucking alive.
right.
I'm literally physically alive, and like, damn, like that's lucky as hell.
Sure.
Like, and like, you know, I think I actually started. I'm not like a total like green juice person for sure. Like. But I kind of, you know, was like, look, I need to like kind of keep myself strong and stuff. I need to exercise a bit. It's like a
You're
feedback
not going
loop.
full YOLO.
I'm not going full YOLO, but I'm not like, you know, totally doing like the moon juice thing. Either,
Right.
You know, I'm not like
You're
reishi
not killing
mushroom
yourself
tincture.
to be some version that, you think you need to be. That's
Exactly. I
unrealistic.
mean, I've kind of let go of that. Like, I think that's a big thing is like, I've let go of feeling like I need to be a certain way. I'm literally just vibing.
Did you feel like Tony Soprano coming out the hospital where he's like, every day's a gift?
Kinda.
Do you still feel that way?
I mean, like, honestly, not every day is a gift period, but like, you know, some days just kind of suck because we're all human.
Yeah.
But I think I'm able to deal with that. I think I'm able to be like, oh, if I feel bad, like, I'm not always going to feel bad. Like,
Right.
you know, this is actually temporary. Whereas if you talked to me like 5 years ago, it would have been like, I'm always going to feel like this. Like, I think the understanding that life and emotions and the way things work fluctuate constantly and just being open and understanding of that is really important.
I want to ask a question about something that I know makes you feel good, which is pants.
Okay. Okay.
You fucking
yes.
love pants.
She's a pants woman.
What
All my
is-
friends are like pants bitch.
What is pants boss?
Pants boss.
What is your current pants rotation?
Oh my God. Okay. I've been culling it down a little bit. I have a big palace to donate and sell actually, but I've been into more kind of tailored menswear shit.
Oh, like trousers.
Kind of trousers. I'm
Pleats?
a trousers girl. Pleats.
Hell yeah.
But like not cut in a way that's super feminine, which is
Okay.
a little hard to find.
Yeah. I guess you buy men's trousers, right?
I
Is it
can't really
really
fit into
small?
them.
Oh, okay.
I'm little.
Yeah.
Which sucks is like a big fucking bane of my existence.
You need
Like
a good tailor.
I have a pretty good one, but I think like there's been some good stuff I found. Like there's some brands I've really been into that have some good stuff, but they're pricey.
Is there not some like tomboy brands, like kind of like
Or
with
gender, like genderless
Yeah.
fashion.
Genderless shit's always like
entire world, right? Is
Yeah.
like their whole thing is genderless.
so much genderless stuff is just like gray sweats though.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's just,
You're
I could
more
also buy
advanced.
that at Hanes.
Yeah.
You know, like I think like I
your
look
biggest
like
fan, your biggest emailer.
literally like come back to me. I look looking kind of dapper, I guess sometimes.
Ooh,
like
little-
that's kind of a vibe.
A little rakish.
Yeah, a little bit.
That might be like that London influence, right?
Oh,
That Savile
totally.
Row, you know?
To-
You always
Totally.
are addressing
I
the
would-
lads when you post the fit pics.
Yeah.
I would kill for a Savile Row suit. Actually, I would love that. I would
sister.
love
You know, you could
to
get
go
a
and get
custom-made suit.
measured.
Do some sponsored content, like
Yeah.
Lawrence and I.
We are
Oh.
literally in the midst of doing some very cool, very tasteful sponsored content so that we can get free made to measure suits.
Oh my god. Oh my
You
god.
might have to-
I'm dying.
that-
Yeah, see,
I'm
this is
dying. I'm dying.
once you
God
fucking
damn.
hack into the matrix, right? And you get past the fucking monoculture of every woman, just every influencer just being like some ethically ambiguous, like skinny bitch. Come run with the big dogs.
I might have to. Honestly,
Well, we have a guy. We now have a guy,
Oh,
and we
God.
should introduce you to
Yeah.
to said guy.
might have to.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the dapper shit is it like tucked in, like button down, nice pleated pants, and then like honestly, like I got some like I've been wanting some like boat shoes actually. Thinking of going a little preppy this summer, but like
Ooh.
thinking of going
James
kind
is
of
not
prep.
a fan of the prep, but I think I
A
personally
little
think that
lightweight.
There's a cool way to do it, or make it your own way.
Totally, you can pull it off without being like full on preppy prep.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
kind of the vibe.
Preppy dudes, it's more like preppy men, preppy white men. kind of had this like evil aura about them.
Oh, they're so evil. I'm
Preppy
scared of
women.
them.
They're just colonizers.
Yeah, and like
Exactly.
exactly. Like they're just plotting how to take over various islands in the tropics.
Well, instead of boat shoes, maybe it's like a Timberland 3-eye lug or something. I'm going to send you some links.
Send me some links.
I have the privilege of being able to DM you, so I'm going to send you some stuff.
Please do.
Get you on the right
I love a
track.
link.
Sophie, you talk about kind of like Sophie versus Jill Slander. Like, how do you describe the separation between the two, between Sophie the human and Jill Slander, the Twitter goddess?
That's a really good question. And it's something I kind of like, I don't want to say grapple with, but I think about more often. I think like, I honestly am a little funnier on Twitter. Like Twitter is where I go when I have a dumbass fucking joke. That's where it goes. And
Versus
like,
something
obviously,
you wouldn't say with the homies at the bar.
and like I might, but it's like, it's like a between friends thing. I can get a little weirder and a little darker, a little more personal. Like with Twitter, I definitely hold off on the more personal shit lately. Like there's some stuff like you actually don't need to post that.
Right.
Like I have an alt, which I do have an alt.
How spicy is the alt?
Okay, this is actually so weird and like way too online of me, but like I had one and like last night I made a new one because the old one had too many followers and I was like, I can't get spicy anymore.
Wow.
The new one's got like 15
An
right now.
embarrassment of riches. You're
I was like-
you're too influential.
It's
for your
like
own
when
good.
you're like, I can't post this on my alt, you need a new fucking alt.
Wow,
you need new
dude.
fucking alt. So now there's like 15 on the new one and I like it that way.
Jeez, I
15
can't even
followers.
imagine what's
15
off
of
the
the
record.
closest
You can
homies.
maybe we can get the privilege of peeping that because
whatever the drafts are, whatever the drafts are in the alt, that's what we need to
Oh,
hear
the
about.
alt drafts. I mean, there aren't really a lot yet, but like the alt drafts.
Well, it's brand new,
definitely, like-
right? It's been
brand
alive for
new.
12
The old
hours or
one is
whatever.
like, I'm just abandoning it. It's kind of nice to have it there, but I'm just abandoning it.
Sophie, there's we've covered a lot of topics that people might consider taboo, and we're very brave that we were able to kind of approach
Yeah.
these
You're so
topics with you.
brave.
Here's
so
a topic that is still taboo in Western society for whatever reasons, but I think over this past summer at least there's kind of been like chipping away at it because it is important to know. Question here, Sophie, is how much money do you make?
How much money do I make?
Yes.
It fluctuates a lot.
Oh yeah.
I'm a freelancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
How much-
prefer that flexibility?
Yes and no. Basically, the nice thing about freelancing is I pick my projects. I
Turn
can
down a lot of projects.
Actually, like it's a thing of like sometimes like it doesn't work out between the two of us. Like
Sure.
you don't have what we need, and I'm not like getting what I need from you. But it's really sick to be able to be like, just like this sounds really cool. Like here's what I can do for
Right.
you, and like making it work out. I'm working on a really sick project right now, which I can't go into unfortunately, but
I
it's like
understand.
pretty big, and like the people I'm working with are great. Like the whole thing is like shaping up really, really good, and it's like honestly kind of sick to be able to like have reached out and like communicated that. Like I am eventually going to look for a full-time job.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah, I think
Is that out of
honestly.
necessity because it's New York or?
New York insurance.
Sure.
Need insurance.
Telling us.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
Do not get Emblem Health Silver. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm still on my parents' insurance very luckily, but that's not going to be forever.
Right.
And it's like honestly, like I can be kind of messy and shit with like my scheduling. Like right now with freelancing, like
You can
at
do
least
a podcast in the middle
yeah, I
of the
can
day.
do a podcast in the middle of the fucking day. But it's kind of nice to set your own schedule, but I'm also really fucking bad at that.
Yeah.
I can be like
I'm someone personally, it's like where I crave structure.
Totally.
Because without it, it's,
it's like chaotic as shit. And like I do
the
get my
wind.
shit done on time, but sometimes it's like you could have done that yesterday.
Sure.
And I think like as much as I don't necessarily want it, I need it, like some structure.
Do you not have any sort of routine like outside of like the fluctuating hours?
I
Work
mean,
hours?
I don't really like I wake up on time, I go to bed on time most of the time, but like in general I try to like, get at least like 5 hours of work in a day, 6. So I'm a little
It's
low
only
on
good
that
about
right
a
now.
week, I would say.
Oh my God, I would kill.
Good week.
Yeah, and a good one. It's a very productive week.
Yeah, it's like weirdly, I think like the thing about what I've been doing is like recently, like I've been doing all this really difficult coding shit and getting so much better at it that now it takes me less time to do it, and I don't bill
You're
for
too
many
good.
hours.
You're too good.
I'm just
at
like,
doing
shit.
the job.
Sophie.
I literally like was like this fucking JavaScript algorithm is going to take me 6 weeks. It took me like 3 days. I was
Damn.
like,
And you-
okay,
but did you tell the client 6 weeks and you just had
I'm gonna
like
bill
fucking
you for 6
5.5 weeks just
I
to
would like,
fuck off?
well, like, but I mean, like ultimately, like freelancing pretty sick, and I have the most horrendous imposter syndrome still.
Really?
Is the one thing.
Welcome
like,
to the club, sister.
Yeah.
I know, right? Like,
I'm surprised that's something that you haven't moved past. I mean, we're talking about all the clarity and the things that you've been able to kind of like, this old version of you that you're like, I've moved past this, but that still exists.
it's weird to me too. It's like the one thing that's
Damn,
like a big. It's like
lingering-
the thing.
That's
like
the
and,
final boss to beat is the imposter syndrome.
and it's funny because like I've like fucked up a little bit at work, but I've never like fucked up.
Right.
I've never never like blown up a project or anything. And I've like kind
You're
of
probably
gotten
harder on yourself than any client would be.
Oh,
right?
totally. Like the amount of times I've had to text or like send an email where it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry it's not done. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
right.
I'll like,
I'll
you know,
talk to
you
you tomorrow.
craft the email like
Whatever.
super intensely and they're just like, okay. So
They're like, I also don't give a shit about this. It's just a fucking job.
they're literally just like, get it done at some point, I guess. But I mean, I've gotten better at being like gentle with myself. Like you're still a human. You're going to fuck up a little bit. Just being upfront about like, if you can't deliver on time or whatever the hell.
What do you like to spend your money on? Because like the walks are free.
The walks are free.
Jacob Reese is free.
Jacob Reese is free.
What do you like?
These are $5.
Yeah. What do you like to spend your money on?
Books and clothes, period.
Ooh.
That's it.
Like expensive rare books?
No, just books.
Expensive rare clothes.
I read a shit ton and expensive rare clothes occasionally.
What was the last expensive rare John you bought?
Oh my God, what is it? I mean, my bag.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
It's a tall bar.
Bushwick?
Ooh,
It's the Bushwick Birkin. We love
how
it.
did we forget that in the fit check?
Oh,
how
fuck.
honestly, you know what? Hand up. That's on
sexist.
us. That's
That's
that is not
sexist.
professional. That should have been in the fit check.
Look what you
Sorry.
did.
Damn. Fuck.
Sophie, my last question is, you are a absolute Twitter titan, right? So if we could hand the keys over to our Twitter to you, we would. Unfortunately, that would be a shame to R. Kelly. The name of our intern is literally R. Kelly.
Oh my God, I love it.
Kills.
Last question: how would you promote your episode on Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know, I don't know yet. I'd have to see.
Well, you're not going to get to listen to it ahead of time because nobody.
We're not going to run
does.
it back.
Oh, okay.
because,
So are we promoting like before it comes out or when?
No,
No,
when
the day it comes out, it
Day
drops.
of.
It drops at
Yeah.
midnight on Anchor.fm. How are we going to sell this? Are we going to be like,
Yeah.
like the intro up top? We're going to have a little audio clip of that.
Okay.
We're going to have Lawrence and I from our personals. We're going to have like kind of bullet points of like our personal highlights.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to take
this, talk about that.
A triumvirate
I've seen,
pick.
yeah,
right.
okay.
You're familiar with. The
I'm
standard
familiar
operating
with it.
procedure.
I've seen.
Is it, what? Yeah. I guess what do you think we should highlight about you and the amazing conversation?
And how are you going to promote this?
How am I going to? Oh, you know
You
me.
are gonna
It's,
promote it
it's
though, right? To be
obviously.
fair? Okay,
Obviously.
thank
Are you
God.
kidding me?
Woo.
Honestly, it's going to be one of those tweets where it just comes to me.
Oh yeah.
The
You're
tweets
shooting
come
from
in
the
like
hip.
You're
shooting
walking
from
down
the
the
hip.
street.
The best ones are when I shoot from the hip. Period.
All right.
It's the
Well,
truth.
Well, speaking of tweets, where can the kids follow you on Twitter,
Yeah, plug your shit.
Instagram? Plug your shit. What do you want to promote?
Okay, Twitter is Jill Slander, JIL_slander.
Classic follow, elite follow.
Yeah.
Absolutely elite, if I may say so myself.
your favorite prestige follows favorite prestige follow.
Goddamn motherfucking right.
And let's see, Instagram is Sophie Helf _ because there's one more Sophie Helf in the world, and she got the non_ one. I was like,
Bitch.
are you for fucking real?
To kill her.
Yo, this could be you could like play the card. This
I could, like,
one of
be
the
like-
person be like,
Slip her a little Venmo request.
Does she post often? Is she
No.
like, a dead account? Yo, hit up Instagram.
I might have to.
you might have to hit her with the sob story. You might have to manipulate this poor woman.
Like, you don't understand what I've been through.
I deserve to be.
I'm
To
so
be
inspiring.
popular.
I'm so inspiring to you.
Everyone needs to know how inspiring I am
Yeah.
on the internet.
I need this for my platform.
Oh God,
And then you're
platform.
just, doing,
Exactly.
you're just getting fits off.
Pretty much. Yeah. Exactly. My platform. No, but and what else?
The newsletter.
Newsletter is dumbitchhours@substack.com,
Love it.
as you know, and that's kind of all I use right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
about
just
it.
follow you on those
Oh.
platforms to see your writing.
Yeah.
You'll promote all that stuff.
And also
Stay tuned, big things coming soon.
SophiaHelf.com.
What was that?
SophiaHelf.com. not
Sophia.
Sophie. Yeah, that's my real name. SophiaHelf.com was taken.
Okay.
Jesus.
I know, right? Come on, man.
Fuck.
But,
Life is on a goddamn warpath.
Life has just fucked you over. Just
Yeah.
left and right.
I just want a little internet link. God damn it.
I know.
Damn.
Yo,
but-
you want to code the next Throwing Fits website?
Be happy to.
Hell
What are we
yeah,
on?
let's
Fucking Squarespace?
Shopify.
Shopify.
Oh man, I've had to use Shopify. It sucks ass. Like when you, from a coder perspective, it sucks ass.
Well,
to
it helps
code
us
with.
sell t-shirts.
Well, there are a lot of hidden fees with Shopify that maybe
I have
spring up
discovered
2 or
this.
3 months later. Let me tell
Oh
you that.
God. No, I mean like, yeah, I'm just like on those two on the internet. And if you go to SophiaHelp.com, it's got links to like my Insta, my.
Oh, that's the
writing.
that's
So
the
like,
mothership.
if you need
HQ.
like some links there,
There we go.
it's really simple. And I did code it myself. You can draw on it with your mouse.
Oh yes,
fire.
that's right. We were when we were doing our pre-production, we were going to it, and for whatever you got like a virus alert, but I was like, oh no, this is
When
cool.
I
You can
click
draw.
on the
Okay,
link
for some
from
reason it's been
email-
doing that. And I need to
Yeah.
go in the back end and fix that. Actually,
Yes.
thank
Yeah.
you for the
Since
reminder.
that is what you
I
do
need
for
to.
a living,
Yes,
you
it
should
is.
be
I
You
need
have
to like.
5.5 weeks free since
Yeah.
you got the 6-week job done in 3 days.
I drew a penis. That's right where
That's
I
what
went
everyone
because
does.
I'm a child.
Do you see the drawings?
No, I don't.
That
Unfortunately,
would be amazing.
Yo, you should
I'm trying to figure out how.
You should NFT your penis
Well,
drawing.
now it's in the fucking ether, dude.
Oh man, no, I
Sell
think
it for ether.
if I knew how to do that, and I could probably figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I would just need to sit down and be like,
Can't
how
even
to do
imagine
it.
what people are. That would be like you don't tell them, and you're like collecting this, and then boom.
It's
like, I
solo art
see
show
you little
opening, and it's
freaks.
like, oh my
Fucking
God.
little FBI agent.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd
It's
be
just
nice.
1,000 penises.
Literally, like, I
Jonah
mean,
Hill's
like,
sketchbook
a couple
in-
titties.
Jonah Hill's sketchbook in Superbad.
Yeah, exactly.
oh my god, exactly. No, I've definitely had people like send a screenshot of like a dick they drew on my website. I'm like,
Hell
you know
yeah.
what? I asked for that.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect. All
All
right,
right, share
Sophie.
art with the world.
Thank you for
Sophie.
coming on the only
Appreciate you.
podcast that matters. Chef,
you so
do you
much
have
for
any
having
music
me.
requests?
Yeah, what do you want?
Music
Yeah,
requests.
do you want
Outro
outro
music?
music? Yeah.
Oh my god, totally. Do you know the
up?
song Inspector Norse by Todd Terje?
No, but that's
No,
Well,
man,
you
it's not
should.
do the outro.
Chef definitely knows it. Chef, slap on that Inspector Terrier. Sophie, thank you again.
Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.